Hello, everyone. Welcome to Parallel Universe here on GDQ Hotfix. I'm happy to be here hosting all night for the rest of the night until we do reruns, but that doesn't matter right now because we're watching Parallel Universe right now. And before we get started, I do want to just mention that here on the GDQ channel, we have a lot going on for the next couple of months. So, next week we have Back to Black 2025. And in 2 weeks after that, we have a English restream of the Marathon Speedruns. And after that, 2 weeks after that, I think, we have Frost Fatales. So you can go to gdq.gg to check all that stuff out. And without further ado, because I'm super excited to get into this hot new speed game fresh off the press, we can get into the introduction of this game. Take it away.
All right, I'm a speed diver. I run various Pikmin games and a few other games as well. And commentating with me, I have Curtis, Deanne, and Pikmin². Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Curtis. I've been speedrunning for a while now, but the last few years, my focus has been on Pikmin games, and I'm happy to be here showcasing Pikmin's latest addition to the world.
Yes, and that's me. I'm Pikmin, the creator of this mod, and I'm here to watch SBU do a great run and hopefully show off the amount of work that went into this project, because it took a long time to make, and I hope you enjoy watching.
Yeah, and thank you, Pikmin, for making this game so enjoyable. All right, are you ready for a countdown? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Okay, so if you haven't played Pikmin
both tried
before,
to do the same thing. Go ahead.
So if you haven't played Pikmin before, Pikmin is a game. You control Almar, and you use Almar to control these little guys, and you have them collect parts and pellets or various enemies to grow more Pikmin. So we're
so right off the bat,
all right, Curtis, you go.
We're going to go to the Red Onion.
We're probably going to do that a lot.
Yeah.
So Pikmin 1, we have 30 ship parts to collect in 30 days, but you're going to see in the speedrun, we're going to do it in way less than 30 days because it turns out each of the main areas can be beaten in only 1 day. If you're able to go fast enough and you have good routing. And Pikmin games as a whole are a lot about routing and multitasking because it would be pretty slow to just do one thing and then wait for that thing to finish and then go to the next thing. So of course, what we try to do as much as possible is task overlap all the different things we want to do as much as possible. There's going to be not very much of that at first because you kind of need more Pikmin to do multiple things at the same time, and that's kind of what Impact Site teaches you at the start of the game is, the more Pikmin you have, the more exponentially that you're able to do at the same time.
Yeah. Right now we're just trying to grow our Pikmin count because we need 10 in order to push that box out of the way.
So let's talk about the mod that is Pikmin²
Yeah.
So if you've seen AGDQ earlier this year, Pikmin 1 was ran by Ray Oken in that, and that is the vanilla game that this mod is based on. So Pikmin and his team of helpers lovingly created this mod over the last few years, where the goal was to recreate Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2's engine. And I would say they did a very good job.
Yeah, so the goal...
If you haven't played a Pikmin game before, Pikmin 1 is well known for being a very buggy game. The Pikmin tend to do weird things. They can fall through the floor when you're fighting enemies or trip, and the horrible tripping. But a lot of that is gone here. And the Pikmin are much easier to control, much more responsive to the level. All just things that happen in 2 normally. But being able to bring them into 1 makes 1 a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a very common and valid criticism that people would love 1 a lot more if it weren't such a primitive game and if the controls weren't as wonky and weird to understand. So I feel like if you're someone who likes the concept of 1 but wishes the mechanics just felt a little smoother, you would probably like this mod a lot. Yeah, and as somebody who is a very avid Pikmin 2 enjoyer, this game feels very great to play because I've also ran 1 a lot, and this game just feels so smooth in terms of mechanics and movement.
Yeah, I've run all 4 games, and when I'm running specifically Pikmin 1, it feels more that I'm battling the controls and trying to not lose my control to just Pikmin 1 mechanics versus like trying to go fast with them. Whereas with the other games, it's I'm utilizing the controls the best I can. It's this, I'm trying to not lose stuff with it. But this hack prevents that, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
So as the last 5
Once
pellet
it's
comes in
done.
here, the first ship part is going to get moving, which is the main engine. It takes 20 to carry, but we can grow a max of 25. So while the sprouts are sort of coming down and SBU plucks the last 5, gonna just get this moving. Pretty much the first example of like raw task overlapping.
Yeah. Okay, so we have time for any announcements right now because nothing is happening.
Yeah, of course. Like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, the first event that we have coming up is Back to Black 2025, the upgrade to Unapologetic Black and Fast, which you might have seen maybe a year ago at this point. It's going to be benefiting Race Forward, and the schedule, you can find it on gdq.gg/schedule. It is so beast. It's really, really good. I absolutely recommend anyone watch it. There's a ton of representation from a lot of different franchises, so if I were you, I'd check it out. You know, maybe there's some prizes. Maybe there's some, you know, cool like pre-shows, cool interstitial content. I don't know. I might be a little bit biased on that one, but definitely check it out.
All right, well, we got our engine back.
right.
That's the end for Impact Site.
Yeah.
Now.
So the next area we're going to be going into is the Forest of Hope. And there we're going to have to collect 8 ship parts as well as grow all of our red Pikmin up to enough for the rest of the run. And we're also going to meet our yellow Pikmin there later on. So there's 3 types of Pikmin, red, yellow, and blue. Red are immune to fire, do the most damage. Yellow get thrown high and can use bombs. And blue have the water utility. So we'll get the blues later, but for now, we're just going to be growing our red Pikmin and then a little bit of yellows and then collecting all 8 parts.
During the little bit of downtime at the start of this day, I'm gonna take this opportunity to just give a better idea of how awesome Pick Hacker is, because I know that he's gonna be too modest to say it himself. But Pick Hacker made this mod pretty much like you'll notice there's a lot of stuff in this game. If you've played Pikmin 2 before, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't look like it was in Pikmin 2 at all, and that's because it wasn't. Pick Hacker made a lot of this stuff on his own, and the people that helped on this game as well. The credits after you beat the game list all the people that contributed. But Pick Hacker has done stuff like this, and it's not just for this game. He's made a bunch of other mods before. And he has a YouTube channel and a website where you can find all of them if you're interested after. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, so
Pick Hacker made a practice mod for Pikmin 2 like 6 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Like the speedrunners of Pikmin 2 were just like, hey, it'd be really nice to have a practice mod, and Pick Hacker just made one.
Yeah,
He's pretty insane.
Huge shout outs to Pick Hacker.
I was taking a look at your website, Pick Hacker, and it is respectfully quite expansive. There's so much. I encourage everyone in chat to take a look, please.
So back to the actual gameplay. You're not supposed to be able to make Pikmin like swim to areas like this, but even in the original Pikmin 1, you could just get red Pikmin across that gap. And that's useful because tricks like that, and one that we'll see a little bit later in the day, allow this area to be beaten without blues. And that's pretty critical because it would be really slow to have to come back here with blues and do all that stuff later. So it's pretty nice.
You gotta be quick though.
And then the rest of this section here is just going to be growing some more reds. The target amount for this point is about like 75 to 77-ish. There will be some more growth later, but for now, that's going to be a pretty good amount of Pikmin. And like we said earlier, with the exponentialness of Pikmin on the field compared to tasks that you can do, it's better to grow up front and then get into actually getting the parts.
I forgot to mention this earlier, but the yellow stuff I collected was nectar, and that's going to put flowers on my Pikmin's head. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause them to go faster. And obviously, faster Pikmin means faster gameplay, which means faster time.
Definitely want flowers. One thing about Pikmin² is that your nectar grass here in the original, there was a chance you could just get nothing from it, and then your run is dead and you cry. But here you're guaranteed to get at least one, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, that was a pretty common way that we would lose runs in this level, is just not getting nectar from the grass.
Yeah.
There's going to be a little bit more grass coming up here in a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So having to get nectar from both those patches, you would think that like an 8% chance per grass for each of these grass patches isn't that high, but we lose a shocking amount of runs in the original game to that.
And then there's also the staggered RNG, and then ACB was pretty inconsistent. So it was really like about 1 in 3, 1 in 4 runs would get past Force to Hope. And on top of that, you had to play well. In this game, the only way you lose a run to Force to Hope is if you just mess up. So amazing addition. So this is yellow Pikmin. We're just going to be growing some.
You'll notice there, this is Pikmin 2 mechanics, so we have swapping colors that are in your hand, which is pretty awesome. In the original GameCube Pikmin 1, you didn't have that, so it's a pretty nice quality of life adjustment here. This is pretty much one of the first times the route's going to diverge from the original Pikmin 1. In the original Pikmin 1, we only needed like 15 yellows for the whole game, and in this game we need a little bit more, and it's not going to be apparent until much later, but it's pretty important. But we'll definitely mention it when it comes up. But yeah, we're going to use this corpse, the big Bulborb, to grow yellows, which we didn't do in the original game.
Yeah, those give a lot.
I think these guys give like 12. Did you change the values from Pikmin 2?
It's 12.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of enemies were changed between 1 and 2 as far as how many seeds they give. It's stuff you don't even think about until you're trying to do these ports.
Yep. I think the developers of 1², I think you guys tried to keep the enemy mechanics and behaviors pretty similar to 2.
Yeah, for the most part.
Which is good in some cases and bad in others. And
so we'll see that in a second here. That Bulborb up there in Pikmin 1, not an issue. In this game, it is an issue.
Yeah, there's
in Pikmin 1,
very small
off-screen
differences.
enemies. Yeah. In Pikmin 1, off-screen enemies just don't exist like, at all. But in Pikmin 2, they will if a Pikmin gets close enough to it. That's my understanding, at least.
It's
These
not
guys
a huge
also wake
deal.
up a lot faster in Pikmin 2 mechanics than in Pikmin 1. So I don't know if you'd call this a sequence break. It kind of is, like pushing this box without blues.
They want you to use blues for this, but it's very easy to just not.
It was even easier in the Wii and Switch versions of the original Pikmin 1 because you could just throw them to the other side.
Yeah.
With GameCube controls, you kind of have to put them on top and then C-stick them over.
Yes, it's a little bit of a sequence break, but not really. So I'm going to do this fight without bombs because the Snagger can actually eat a bomb and kill every single one of your Pikmin, and that's not really recoverable, so I'm going to do this pretty safe.
Yeah, bombs are pretty destructive in this.
This fight also is going to look pretty different. If you've seen a speedrun of the original Pikmin 1, you might know that we do this fight a little differently. That's just mostly due to like mechanically how the Snaggers are different between Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. It's also really convenient that only his head drops in this game, so you don't have to like worry about Pikmin grabbing all the little 1 pellets and stuff.
Yeah, in the original game, they don't leave their head; they just drop a bunch of pellets. But I think what Pikmin 2 did was a better system, so I just stuck with it.
Another thing that wasn't in Pikmin 1 or Pikmin 2 is that when you pick up a Pikmin, you can actually just press B to drop it, like you can in the future games, which is amazing. Which, outside of just convenience, is going to be useful later if I just want to grab a Pikmin for C-sticking purposes. I guess we need to talk about the C-stick.
Yeah, the C-stick is pretty useful. Oh yeah, well, both of those are pretty useful, but I guess to conclude the point about seasticking is that like when you pick up a Pikmin, the squad sorts by color. And that becomes really useful because when you dismiss Pikmin, they also dismiss by color. And in it's kind of complicated, but the basic idea is that like they'll sort of group together based on like where the majority of a color is. And they'll sort of pick spots equidistant from those points of other colors and from captains. So you can use that in addition to like the mechanic where you like pick up a Pikmin to sort the squad to more efficiently dismiss your Pikmin and predict where they're going to go. Like right here, he's going to dismiss there and know that the yellows will go right into the can. Unfortunately, they didn't all pick up bombs.
Because
so that's fine.
There's only 15 bombs.
He still has 15. Oh, you didn't? Okay, yeah. I forgot you threw these two over here. That's my fault.
Yeah,
so
let's
this
talk
is...
about bomb rocks a bit. We can talk about how they act different in this. In the original GameCube Pikmin, when you throw a bomb Pikmin, like it'll be in a state where if you whistle it at all, it'll drop the bomb. And then in Wii, they changed that, so now they'll never drop the bomb if you whistle them. But in Squared, we tried to like do a sort of middle ground where after you throw it, they light up, and then after 5 seconds, they'll go out. And if you whistle them while they're lit up, they'll drop the bomb. Otherwise, they won't. So it makes it a lot easier to control. And they won't like try throwing bombs at enemies or anything because that never ended well. So overall, bombs are a lot more straightforward in this.
Yeah, definitely.
The bombs on top of that wall also are a bit of a sequence break and are a consequence. I guess in the original game, it was sort of like an unintended consequence of how the Pikmin would drop their bombs. But basically, that gate's not supposed to be broken without blues, but if you can get yellows on top and get them to drop their bombs, they'll still deal damage to the wall, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Another really nice Pikmin 2 mechanic is that you can just C-stick into these shear grubs and they won't just automatically eat a Pikmin.
Yeah, that's...
If you try to do this in Pikmin 1...
armor.
Yeah, they can still take damage in this game when there's a Pikmin in their mouth. In the original Pikmin 1, if you try that, you're just going to have deaths like all over in that area. It was also a nice little bit of time save because SBU had the extra bombs, just being able to bomb some of the shear grubs instead of having to deal with it later.
And speaking of things that, like Curtis said, aren't in Pikmin 2, here's the armored cannon beetle.
So,
this guy was in the original, and now he's back.
This is a major reset point in the original Pikmin 1, because if he shoots that thing, every single Pikmin is dead. But in this game, he rarely does because it's Pikmin 2 boulders and they behave a little bit differently. So if they collide with a treasure, they'll just break. Not treasure part. So they just won't really kill Pikmin anymore.
Yeah, and in Pikmin 2 with cannon beetles, if you've ever watched them like shoot at a part that's being carried by Pikmin, a lot of the time they'll just like the bomb will hit and nothing will happen to it because it'll just miss. That's not true 100% of the time, but it's true enough of the time that we can pretty much rely on it. However, the problem with Armored Cannon Beetle in this game is that sometimes he'll just make the Pikmin like get shaken off the part as it passes by. So that's why SBU threw the Pikmin in the snout there just as a little bit of insurance. Because we could just have the part pass by on its own and not do anything about ACB, but sometimes he just shakes Pikmin off, and if that happens, then that's really bad, so...
Yeah. The other thing, I didn't mention this earlier, but I do need to grow a few extra reds for Force Naval in this route, because the BLL fight is a little bit slower if you only have 20 Pikmin, so we grow extras for that.
And if you've never watched a run of this game, it might come as a surprise that we're talking about using reds on BLL, but we will see that a little bit later. You can also do that in the original Pikmin 1, is using reds on that. Right? So this is a pretty good example of how the epitome of multitasking is getting the part moving and then dealing with the enemies. Even going so far as to not kill the enemies if you can help it, such as right there.
I think that he got stuck. He got stuck. Okay. That's not good.
This might still one day.
Oh, wait,
Probably not, but it could.
What the?
What happened?
How did he
what?
die?
It happened. They must have.
Okay, well,
That's a never happened before.
well, yeah, that's a new occurrence. But I mean, this mod is only a month old. So I mean, I don't know, take that
earlier
with a
today in
bit of a grain
practice,
of
we saw
salt.
the weird Puffstall animation.
Yeah. That's quite spectacular
Wait,
that happened because
What
the
did
run's
happen?
also
They must have-
probably still alive, or at least the one day I should say.
We're
The one
good.
day is
We got
probably
plenty of
still
time.
alive because of that.
So we are just collecting these parts at the end. So if you have to make any announcements, now would be a good time.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I mean, that's never happened before. So that's never happened before. Like chat, like clap it up. Like that's so funny. But yeah, I just want to take this time to say that everyone in chat right now should be following, this great runner, this great dev, and the great comms. I think that's worth a shout out in and of itself.
Thank you very much. Definitely please follow Pickhacker because I want him to get as much support for doing stuff like this as he can possibly get because this kind of stuff is just, it's amazing that this even exists because like I remember us throwing out the idea like years ago, like imagine a game where it was Pikmin 1 but the mechanics were just better. And now it's like 4 years later and it's a thing. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a wish for a while and now it's a thing. So I do think normally there's a big cutscene that triggers when the bolt comes in, but I actually stopped the bolt because it's a little bit behind. I'm wondering if that's why that thing happened. Because I think I think that's happened once before, and it was also the time I stopped the bolt. So maybe not collecting the bolt there triggered it, but I don't know.
It might be a weird carryover of Pikmin 2 because there's some cutscenes in Pikmin 2 where things move and some where they don't. I'm wondering if the like area unlocked cutscene is one of them where the things do move. It's interesting to think about. That could use further testing later.
Yeah.
I think.
By the way, that was Force of Hope in a day. That's pretty hard, even despite that thing happening.
Yeah. And there's also a bug right now where those days are shorter than they're supposed to be, and that hasn't been fixed yet. But yeah, it's funny that even with that being an issue right now, he still did it.
In the original Pikmin 1, it's a pretty common thing to hear us tell like new runners and stuff that's a really good accomplishment to finish a 6-day as you're improving. And that's mostly because getting each of the areas in one day in the original game is really difficult. And it's not exactly a walk in the park in this game either, but the mechanics definitely make it a little more forgiving, to say the least.
It's a little bit easier to get a 6-day on the GameCube or not GameCube, a Switch or Wii version than it is on the GameCube because it is more lenient with the controls, but it is still really hard to do so. So it is definitely an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Are those Pikmin attacking the bridge but not up on the bridge?
It happens a lot more than
Don't
you
worry
think.
about it. Bridges and Pikmin 2 are kind of weird.
Yeah, you just-
I had to be very careful to make sure the crushing glitch wouldn't happen. But yeah, we're gonna get the there's some bombs back here. We definitely want to get right away.
Yeah, this is pretty much like the most convenient place to get bombs for the things that we would use bombs for at the start.
Only 2 bomb spots in this whole map, but they're pretty good ones.
So right there, you see in the left side of the screen the bread bug, and we talked earlier about how pretty much every enemy in this mod is their Pikmin 2 equivalent with like a few minor tweaks. Bread bugs are pretty much their Pikmin 2 equivalent, and that's actually a case where it's worse for us in this run.
Well,
It's more or less Pikmin 2 mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some changes were made to like
they have
make
to-
the mod
they have the
work.
whole shaking thing. If you can punch them, and they'll shake. But they have the big thing that Curtis is talking about is that they can carry heavier stuff in this. Because in the original one, it can only carry like single weight items, But I like Breadbugs. I think
Yeah,
it's
so
fun. I want him to
he
carry big
can
stuff.
carry the blowhogs back, which we actually need to use to grow later. So I actually had to go and find a backup strategy to make sure that that wouldn't happen in the run because that happened a lot in practice.
It's even more annoying for the run because breadbugs in Pikmin 2 mechanics also do not get deloaded, which means in Pikmin terms that like once, like what Pickhacker mentioned earlier, when something's off screen, it basically doesn't exist. That's not true for roaming enemies in Pikmin 2. And breadbug is a roaming enemy that goes around the map randomly. So breadbug can just start carrying things like and going wherever he wants, basically at any time, which is not true in the original Pikmin 1. So this is BLO.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the start, he can either do 8 steps or 12 steps. So you want to hope for 8 steps because it is really helpful. Because this entire section, I've just been trying to chase down that spring I loaded earlier. So any time loss here is essentially doubled because I have to go and chase down the spring. So him doing 12 steps instead of 8 steps is really bad because, yeah, see, it's a little bit past, so I'm gonna have to chase it down, which is double time loss here.
Well, it's really bad in the terms of like the spring was a little harder. It's like, it's one of those like really minor things. Like as you get better at speedrunning a Pikmin game, those become the things that matter more to you than like the bigger things, I would say.
So we do got to kill some reds there to make room for the blue Pikmin we're gonna have to grow.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate sacrifice, but it is routed in.
Their deaths will be remembered. They fought hard. And died.
Can we get an 07 in the chat?
Okay, that yellow was also a niche Pikmin 2 mechanic where Pikmin that are like suffering, like on fire or on poison or on water, as we like to refer to it as, they aren't affected by bombs in Pikmin 2, which is really interesting.
Oh yeah. Even if they're just like scared from the tights or something, they won't get exploded, which can help a lot in certain caves. But you know, not this case.
So we're going to be growing some blue Pikmin, and we're going to try our best to multitask the blue growth with the parts coming in. We need to grow 40 total Pikmin, or blue Pikmin, to get the heaviest part out. And then we're just going to be collecting as many parts as we can while it's happening.
This part that's up on those, like where the yellows are going to end up after the twigs are done, is actually a difference between this game and the original, because in the original Pikmin 1, if a part like falls down from a ledge or something while it's on screen, it'll have physics applied to it and it can just bounce all over the map.
Oh yeah, and the Pikmin can get like knocked off and stuff.
Yeah, so you have to intentionally off-screen certain parts when that kind of stuff is going to happen. In this game, that's not an issue, so SBU could just look over there if he wanted to.
I'm gonna look this way.
He's a little busy right now, but he could just look at it if he really wanted to. And it would be totally fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that there is tons of love in chat for our fallen soldier.
The 7 intentionally sacrificed soldiers and the 1 unintentionally fallen soldier.
Yep.
Alright, well here we're going into the cave, the bottom part of the map where the Lyra is. And all these pretty mushrooms that you can't see in the original game, but now you can.
Yeah, the attention to detail in this part is pretty cool.
Shout out the artists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the artists, definitely.
Yeah. Especially the Louis Quest stuff, which maybe some other time that'll be shown, but the Louis Quest models in this are crazy.
Oh yeah, we also didn't really talk about that, but this main game mode that's basically Pikmin 1 recreated in Pikmin 2, this is only one of 3 game modes you can play in this mod. Like, Pickhacker, you could have just released this as a game, and it would have been a really good mod, and I would have loved it.
Yeah.
But you guys made 2 whole extra additions onto it. It took so much effort.
Another reason why you should always let
originally it was
Pickhacker.
supposed to be. Yeah, what happened was it started as a much more minor thing, but then ideas started.
That's such a game dev quote, I think. Like, yeah, we can't stop now. Like, we're on a roll.
Minor.
This whole section of growing blues and getting different tasks started is like the epitome of multitasking in this game. Just from the last like 2 minutes or so until like basically the end of this area, there's going to be so much happening at the same time.
Yeah, this map.
Yeah, Forest Stable is my favorite level for this reason.
So we have 40 blues here exactly, which is the minimum amount to carry one of the parts that are in the water.
That's really good breadbug RNG.
Yeah. The struggle with breadbug is that if you don't get it at the very start of the day, you basically just have to like look for it throughout the rest of the day and pick a spot that's going to be good. And sometimes it's just not good, and then you just have to suffer and try to force it, and then yeah.
And then sometimes it just doesn't come at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breadbug can go all sorts of wrong in this area, especially because of like what I mentioned earlier, the lack of deloading mechanics.
I'm pretty good at like RTS games, and like I love Pikmin. I'm a little bit biased, but I like totally forgot about that bridge, and it like threw me off, being like, oh yeah, I forgot like we put those there like 5 minutes ago. Like,
yeah, it was a lot of stuff is happening, so you just forget one thing, and it's like.
It's pretty hard. Like most people, when they get into this game, have a hard time just like remembering the route and the order of things, and understandably so, because there's so many things happening all at once at times.
yeah, my probably most played mode, and I don't know if this is like cool of me or like lame of me, is in Pikmin 3, there was like the bingo battle mode. I love that mode because it was like different routing every time. And it's literally the exact same as speedrun bingo, but I love that. I loved playing it.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with that. I just never had anybody to play it with. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I had some IRL friends whenever I was a lot younger playing it, but I just like beat them every time. So it was like it wasn't the same.
Yeah, we would do like 50 Pikmin versus 1 Pikmin, and I'd still win. So it's just like we just gave up at that point.
I'm seeing a bingo mentioned in chat, and I just want to mention that the next game we have up is Chibi-Robo. So if you're a fan of seeing the GDQ VODs on youtube.com/GameStormQuick, you know, maybe take a look at that because you might have seen bingo for that game.
See, another side note about Pikmin 3 is I run that game as well, and the all fruits category is like, if you think this is complex, the all fruits is like amazing because you have 3 captains, 5 different Pikmin types, and then you also have the Go Here feature, which basically just lets you move captains without controlling them, and it's one of the sickest speedruns of all time. So I would definitely go and check it out.
Yeah,
the routing in all fruits gets so crazy.
Feels more like you're actually like playing like Pikmin with like a keyboard and mouse, where it's like you're like kind of god controlling like all the little guys on the field, instead of like you're like this 4'11" like short king like trying his best. You know what I mean?
4'11" short king definitely sums up Olimar. Shout out Cat, by the way.
Yeah, the shortest king we have in Pikmin speedrunning. So if everything goes well in the routing in Forest Naval, this part that SBU just started moving right here should actually be the last thing in. And this is probably a good time to mention that like the way that we construct routing and stuff in Pikmin games, and it's a lot more prevalent in Pikmin 2 because we have like dynamic routing with the RNG caves, is that you want to get the slowest thing moving as soon as you can and make sure it's moving as fast as you can get it. And we call this like limiting factors because we want the thing that's limiting us from moving on to the next section to be going as fast as we can.
Yeah.
This is pretty much just waiting for parts to get in, having so many things moving at the same time.
Yeah, now would be a good time for some announcements.
Yeah, I just
anything you want to plug.
Oh yeah.
I love the end of days in like Pikmin speedrunning because it's just like part after part after part. It's like so satisfying. But yeah, if you like watching GDQ Hotfix, consider joining the GDQ Discord because there's a lot of cool people in there. You know, there's even staff, there's even showrunners in there. You can even get a Hotfix watcher, Hotfix enjoyer role, and you can get pinged for all of the weekly announcements that we have for all of the shows that we have for each week. They're all very good. All of the shows right now are very, very good. I know that we're hiring more. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/jobs if you want to see all of the staff positions that we're hiring for right now. You can see that too. I don't even remember how much is left. I'm trying to the perfect amount like last time, but I'm losing it.
You got about a minute.
I'm lost in the plot right now. There's also a season 4 Hotfix shirt if you're interested in that. If you go to theyeti.com/GDQ, you can check that out. It's super, super cute. There's people on there with all of the Hotfix shows because he's like the little mastermind, controlling all of the shows. He's controlling me right now. Did you know that? Yeah, there's not much left for me to say.
Okay, we can yap a little more.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about how in the original Pikmin, there's a glitch you can do and skip shit part cutscenes, but sadly, that's very much a proper engine. So
there is theoretically a way to do it, but it's like it's like you have to conjure up a whole menu out of nowhere, and then only then you can skip one halfway through, and then even then it would only save 2 seconds if the rest of that somehow didn't lose any time.
The idea of that just hurts me.
It's complicated.
It's best not to think about it.
Just as you can't skip.
It's actually a really cool tech in the original game. Unfortunately, it's absent from this game, but it just would have been so hard to code in that I don't blame them for not doing it.
Yeah, I would have had to rework how a lot of cutscene stuff works. But you can skip the end of day. You can skip the game intro, which is
you can skip way more cutscenes in this than you could in the originals, especially the GameCube version.
Yeah,
the landing cutscenes in end day alones are probably 3 to 4 minutes more if it's more than 6 days.
Yeah.
So we're back at Impact Site now, and the main purpose of us being here before going to the other possible area is that this pearl from this pearly clam gives 50 Pikmin. And so that's a really fast and easy way to grow a lot of blues because we want 90 blues going into the next area.
Yeah. I know if you go to Distant Spring on day 4, your snitch bugs won't be there, which sometimes can be nice, but this is probably more optimal.
Yeah.
That's more useful in the original game because the snitch bugs are pretty much a non-factor in the remake. Again, shout out Pickhacker.
Yeah.
So Pickhacker, on days 8+, there's actually enemies here in this area that aren't here on this stage. Oh, yeah. And one of them you had to code entirely from scratch. So is there anything funny you want to say about that?
Yeah. If you've ever played the original Pikmin, there's a thing called the Gulix, which it's very easy to miss. It only shows up in Impact Site on odd days, or was it? I don't remember which, but it only shows up sometimes in Impact Site. It's very easy to miss. But that little thing that is so easy to miss is probably what took several months of work just to make its AI work, the way it moves. In fact, it's technically 3 different enemies in one. It's a very complicated thing. But we did a pretty good job with it. I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, it's insane that Gulix exists in this game and is that good.
Yeah. If Pickhacker had just been I don't want to code Gulix and released it without Gulix, this would still be an amazing hack. But the fact that he went above and beyond and did all that, just shows how much of a good person he is.
Yeah, it was a team thing. I got a lot of help with some of the math. There's a lot of math involved with Gulix, and I wouldn't have been able to figure it out. And that's why we're a team.
Okay, so Distant Spring is the next area we're going to. It's entirely, or almost entirely based on water, so that's why we need to grow all 90 blue Pikmin, and then just a little bit of yellows for bombs, but it's going to be just entirely blue Pikmin mostly from here on out.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of blues here. You don't really need any reds, and only a few yellows.
So there's a strat that's only possible on this mod. It's not really doable in the original, at least not to the same extent SB is going to go for right at the start here. to get this the repair type bullet from the sledge. You're supposed to put Pikmin on the like outer rim and C-stick them around to this. But if SBU finds the right spot to stand in, you can just throw them from here and they'll just go up. I think we found that out because people who run the other game mode started doing that.
Yeah, it's that, and the other Bulborb strat came from just watching a Louis Quest run.
Yeah, there's a whole group of runners that's routing and running the other story mode that Pickhacker added to this game. I still think that's crazy that you guys added like completely separate game modes on top of this.
Oh, please move.
This guy's AI is... Sometimes it's weird to lure him into the right spot in this game because it's Pikmin 2 Puffy Blowhogs compared to Pikmin 1 Puffy Blowhogs. It's a lot easier to lure this guy in Pikmin 1. Just because of like how their AI works.
You want him to like... Yeah, you want him to die in this area of the map because then the part will take a shorter route back. If it's too far to the right, then that won't happen, and it goes...
It's not really the short or long way. It's the fact that it dies if it goes the other way.
Has all sorts of enemies.
It dies.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. I think it's easier to get it.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Yeah. Sure. So we're just going to be luring a few Wollywogs throughout the day, just so that they're out of the way of these parts. We don't actually kill any of them. They would be an issue.
More of a lot more of it in this area compared to the other areas, where we just kind of like bring enemies out of the way and then just pretend they don't exist and get the parts moving. Because it's a lot faster to do that than it would be to like manually kill every single one of them. Risk Pikmin dying, lose time. Like it's like sometimes it's a little bit finicky and we have to do like relures, but it's like miles faster than the alternative.
That's a few too. That feels like it's less than ideal, but should be fine.
I also think Pikmin speedrunning is like super impressive just because like on top of like thinking about like, you know, luring the enemies away and all that, you have to like actually do it fast so you can make sure you get everything done within the day and like obviously not like lose that time.
Oh yeah, the theory and the routing is a whole separate beast from the actual execution, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting too, like there's a few people, including myself, that have ran Pikmin games after running like other more traditional games like platformers and stuff. And the amount, like you need to have a totally different mindset to be good at something like this, just because of how much is going on and how much you have to think about at all times. And the fact that it's not going to be the same every single run, there's going to be small deviations and things you need to adjust to.
Yeah, a lot of this run is not necessarily doing the fastest strategies, it's minimizing the mishaps that happen.
Yeah, I've been hearing people call these types of games like spreadsheet games, where it's like you have to have like a spreadsheet open at all times. You have to like know what you're doing, you have to know what you're getting into, and then also like if anything changes, you have to like know how to like back everything up. And it's like just having that like speedrunning like theory is like just a completely different beast.
Yeah, a lot of that's also present in Pikmin 2, where I'm not going to get too into it, but you basically, for the payoff debt category, you have to collect a certain amount of treasures, but then the treasures you collect can vary, and then you also have to collect a certain amount of bugs, which also is going to vary, and then on top of that, every single floor is randomly generated, so you have to spawn in, figure out where everything is, and come up with the best possible strategy all in the span of a few seconds, and then also, in addition to that, execute it.
It gets so crazy. Like, it's it's prevalent in all the games, but I think in base Pikmin 2, it's the most obvious and most present. This Blowhog likes to become an issue later in the day if he ends up in the wrong spot, because in Pikmin 1, these puffy Blowhogs would not blow Pikmin off that were carrying parts, but Pikmin 2 style ones do. So now all of a sudden these guys are problems, and we have to implement some clever deloading to deal with them.
Yeah, they just have cycle patterns, so you just watch them until they go to the non-issue pattern.
Yeah, you can see them on the top of the screen. The Blowhog was just like going off to the side, away from where the parts are going to path later, and that's pretty critical. So here we're getting the bridge started, and another pretty obvious example of multitasking. Like, we have to build that bridge to get the bowsprit out of there. So while we're doing that, we're just going to come over here and do whatever else we have time for. This snitch bug, if you've played the original Pikmin 1, and I think we mentioned it earlier, you might know that the snitch bugs like to just go wherever they want. Thankfully, that's not the case in this game.
Yeah, they're a lot simpler here. They do some of the stuff from Pikmin 1. Like, they'll throw the seeds one at a time, but the general big things about Pikmin 1 Snitch Bug are nameless.
We do still have to kill this one, because it'll become a problem if we don't kill that one, so... But thankfully, it's a lot less about RNG.
Yeah, I would rather it be slower but consistent than faster but random.
Also, that wall is another case of us using bombs in pretty unintended ways.
Yeah. If there's a wall, you can bomb it. Water's not going to stop us.
Now all of the like long form routings pretty much coming together. These blues that we put on these bridges way earlier. As soon as these bridges are done, we're going to take them and go get that part behind that gate that we just opened up.
I like really beat this bridge. Hold up.
I think it was...
I mean, I put 18 on it, but like, I've never beat it by like 2 whole notches. It's not the end of the world because we are waiting on parts to come back, so it's not complete time loss, but it is not ideal to have to wait on that.
I think it was just that this distance spring was really good.
Well, like, I normally put
with
like
the amount that you put on,
I
think with the amount that you put on, you were pretty much guaranteed to beat it. But I think, in addition to that, this was pretty well played.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was clean.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I've been an active lurker, and I know how that sounds. I've been an active lurker in like our practice streams, and I've been eating up this mod. It is so cool to watch.
Thank you.
So this is the next pretty big difference in routing between this game and the original Pikmin 1. In the original Pikmin 1, there were ways of getting blues up to a certain part that we're going to get coming up here soon. In this game, there's nothing that we know of that will let us do that. So unfortunately, we have to use yellows for it. But there is still a pretty cool way of us getting the yellows over there to use for that part.
Yeah. Anything to not use those terrible candy pop bugs. They're the worst.
Yeah, so we can just use this. This is kind of like a mini sequence break, if you will, because we're still skipping the puzzle, but it's not as much as the original game where we would just clip out of bounds and just throw onto the part with blues.
But yeah, on GameCube, you would do a clip with one of the bull bears to get up on top of the wall and go around with blues that way. I thought it was about to happen again, where the part got stuck.
Yeah, and then on the Wii and Wii and Switch version, you can there's a weird collision throw you can do to just get the blues up there just by throwing at a weird angle. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Yeah, as long as the dumples are fine, then this amount of blues is okay.
Yeah. It's also good that cutscene came in right there, because when I'm throwing to this next part, if that cutscene plays, then the Pikmin will just stop moving and they'll just fall down, and I'll have to go down and re-whistle them and throw them back up. And it can lose like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's another little annoying difference in mechanics just between Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 is that like the way that cutscenes interact with physics and the way that they interrupt things is different. Mostly that in Pikmin 1, it pretty much never interrupts anything that's not the bread bug.
Yeah, the other thing is,
2,
in Pikmin 1, when a cutscene plays, the second you skip out of it, you're actionable. In this, it locks you out of throwing, whistling, dismissing, a few other actions as well.
Yeah, that's just part of how Pikmin 2 works.
Yeah, so it's really nothing you can do about it, but it is unfortunate.
It's just something you gotta play around, and sometimes and it also takes a little bit of like knowledge to know that certain cutscenes can be problems and playing around that. So SBU, I believe, counted out a particular amount to put on these parts, the 2 lighter ones, which were Ionium Jet and UV Lamp. because there's parts that still haven't been collected here at base that weigh 30. And he's going to go get the gluon drive after this. And you want 30 Pikmin at base to overlap the gluon drive movement with collecting the last few parts that are left here.
Yeah, I gave myself 31.
It's just another instance of, you know, the more things you can have happening at the same time, the better. It would be all fine and well if we just took the max amount of Pikmin over here and just got a gluon drive and had nothing else to do while it was moving. But it's even better if we can find stuff to do while this really long thing is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gluon drive is the heaviest part in the game.
There's even routes on the original Pikmin 1 where you don't have to build these bridges to get the gluon drive, because if you include the bridge build time into the route, it's actually like the most lengthy treasure to get by far. Like, and even with the trick that you do in the original game in that route to skip the bridges, like you're sitting there at gluon drive pushing it into the water with a shearwig corpse for like a minute maybe.
It's like 30 seconds.
And it's some absurd amount of time, but it's still like way faster to do that than it is to build the bridges. At least on like Wii and Switch, it's a lot faster.
Yeah, the reason it's slower on GameCube is because you have to walk over and do the out of bounds, versus on Wii you can just throw up. For the
GameCube suffers a little bit from different mechanics. So yeah, this is pretty much just waiting for parts to get in again, and then we'll go to the final area. So if there's anything that you'd like to plug or say now, it's pretty much your last chance before the run's over.
Oh boy, it's my time. Yay. I just wanted to remind everyone, I wanted to mention real quick that if you have Twitch Prime, consider using your Prime sub on us if you haven't used it yet this month. Because, you know, it is almost the very beginning of the month. Maybe in some time zones in the US, it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be the beginning of the month. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, consider using it on us because it helps us do more events and helps us, you know, support Hotfix. So definitely helps a lot. That tier 1s, 2s, all bits tiered. And even just like watching ads or telling your friends. That all helps us. So, you know, consider doing all that.
Okay, so going into the final area, this is just basically just the final boss. So all we're going to have to do is just build a bridge and then go and kill the final boss. And then we just collect it, and then that's the run.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about like 4.5 minutes-ish from now until the end.
Ideally.
Yeah, in a perfect world. The final boss is not exactly trivial. I do think it is easier in this game, though, compared to the original Pikmin 1.
Probably should have saved, but oh well.
Yeah, I was going to say I
haven't saved the entire run. That was the first thing I said I was going to do, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You have Reds as backup, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We're living on the edge,
Yeah.
Joel.
Yeah.
200 Pikmin. What could go wrong?
So you actually can do a few different routes for this area, but SBU is going to do the fastest route. And the idea behind why it's the fastest is because the final boss takes like a while to do. So it would be pretty neat if we could find something to multitask that with and get a little bit of overlap going with like the slowest thing in the area. So what SBU is going to do is he has these bridges going, but the one that's extending out towards the base, he's going to leave a few Pikmin on that while he fights the final boss and finish it with like basically the blues that he's taking with the farther away bridge. He is going to take some blues off because you do want to have a few extra on the close one because it takes a little while. And these bombs are going to be pretty critical, not only because this gate requires bombs. That's fine. You have an extra.
Yeah, I'm fine.
This wall requires bombs, but also the bombs are going to be pretty important for the final boss itself. And you'll see why in a little bit. So this is also a nice little sequence break right here. You're supposed to put reds on that railing, like out where spawn is. and bring them all the way around here and then C-stick them around, but you can actually just throw Pikmin right over the wall and do it this way. And so I guess I can start explaining what's going to happen on Emperor Bulbox a little bit before he gets there. So there's a mechanic that Emperor has where if he sticks his tongue out at a bomb and it explodes on his tongue, he gets this really long stun where he gets slapped by his own tongue and he's just sitting there dazed for a little bit. And in a perfect world, we do that 2 times to him and get a clean 2 cycle here with the blues.
Yeah, hopefully it works out.
The timings are a little bit different just because of mechanical differences between this and the original Pikmin 1. But in a perfect world, it works more or less the same.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm used to the Wii version where you can't actually dismiss or whistle the bombs off, so you would have to time it perfectly so the Pikmin would throw it into his mouth, which is like insanely hard. And this is just press whistle, so it's like this is like so much easier.
07 for those 2 guys.
Yeah, those guys lost their lives for the greater good. But this should be clean 2 cycle.
For the greater good, and this better be
almost not. Sometimes the part doesn't always drop in the same place, and it's hard to see it with all the like dust particles and stuff. The bridge finishes more or less on time, which is good. And then, because these Pikmin were working on that bridge the whole time to get it finished right as the part came by, and now they can just go right on the part and help out. And that is the run.
Once it collects.
Well, yeah, it's not over.
Okay, so when the ship part collects, the screen's going to fade to black. When it fully hits black, it'll be time, and then we have time coming up in about 20 seconds.
This was a clean run, by the way.
Yeah, no, dude. If that Force of Hope thing didn't happen, this would have probably been the world record.
Yeah, that Force of Hope thing. Yeah. It was good content. Time.
GG's.
Yeah,
that was definitely like a spiritual world record, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. What was the time out of curiosity?
It's looking like a mid 55. I'll tell you the exact seconds here in a sec. 55:29 actually.
Okay, that is the world record.
Almost exactly, yeah. Okay.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely one of the runs of all time.
This mod is about a month old at this point. It came out right before the new year, and me and SBU have been working on trying to improve strats, improve execution. But there's still a long ways to go with this, I think. More so than I originally thought there was.
Potential and stuff that you wouldn't even think would exist in those like knapsack lips. There could be also.
So if anything that we've said on commentary piqued your interest in terms of getting into this game or any game in the series, we have a community speedrunning Discord that is on all of the speedrun.com pages. There's video guides, there's tutorials, there's other mods, there's people to help you get into mods, running mods or running the vanilla games. There's people to help you get into making your own mods. There's whole tools that have been made specifically for that.
Pikmin 2 especially has a very big modding scene besides just me. Pikmin 2 is a very moddable game. It has a lot of potential, and I hope this shows what I mean when I say that. You can do a lot with Pikmin 2.
And I want everybody to check out Pickhacker's work, by the way.
Yeah, and I just want to... I want to... Yeah,
and,
I want to.
And likewise, I don't think the Pikmin speedrunning community would be as advanced without your work, Pickhacker. Just, beyond like the practice hack and the hacks you've created, but like the research and everything else you've done is just like it's a mutual relationship.
Yeah, and I want to
code digging. There's a whole project going on where people are trying to get like the whole game decomped, Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2.
I think
If you're interested in something like that as well, you could join Discords and contribute to that.
yeah, and I want to thank all.
But yeah, this is the credits. If we have time to watch the credits, we could see everybody that helped with this mod.
Do we have time to watch these credits for a little bit, or do you need to get on to the next run?
Tentatively, this is a yes, but I'm gonna just be talking until I hear like the God voice coming down and saying yes or no. But tentatively,
Yeah, you can feel free to plug during this. We've pretty much said our piece, I think.
Yeah,
And shouted out everyone that needs shouted out.
So you can find me on my Twitch, Speediver, or my YouTube, which is also Speediver. And then you can also contact me in Discord, which is also Speediver, or in the Pikmin speedrunning Discord.
Go follow SBU. He's really good at all the games. He's held world record, I think, in every main series game.
Yeah,
on the version he
I mean,
plays on.
Pikmin 2 with an asterisk, but yeah.
The Pikmin games do have a very strong Japanese community as well, and we don't hear a lot from them outside of the occasional like, hey, this is a new PB I just got. But there's a big community of Japanese runners. Oh yeah, there's language translations. There's like a double-digit number of language translations or something.
That's so cool, and I do want to just like emphasize this because like, you know, the quality of this mod is just like incredible. And I do want to just like give you all the shout outs in the world because it's so cool. Where can everyone find your website with all the mods that you've made?
He's got to look up the link to his website. So, pickhacker.github.io, is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, sick. He also has a YouTube channel where he makes trailers for all the projects that he makes.
Yeah.
And everything's linked there as well if you can't find the website.
Curtis, have we talked about you at all? Like, have we given you any shout outs?
I'm just a dude. I've just been talking. I do runs on Twitch occasionally of Pikmin games and other games.
No, but Curtis is a great guy to hang out with. We'll be playing Mario Party, whatever. He's just a great dude. And then running, he's a great runner.
And Fortune Street.
And Fortune Street. In the Discord, he is very knowledgeable, and it leads to long out discussions about random stuff. So we'll have like just discussions over like the smallest of things. Like that's how cool the Pikmin speedrunning community is.
Yeah, if you have any questions on like anything, like if you're trying to improve in one of the games, like anybody that's active in the Discord will help you. And we can write entire theses on certain things.
Oh yeah, lots of discussions about this.
So there's plenty of help if you're trying to get into something like this.
Yeah, okay.
I will say it is pretty crazy that Pikmin as a series was originally at GDQ like a decade ago. And now we're doing this like a decade after that.
Yeah, that's a great
So cool.
like full circle moment.
That's how I got into speedrunning, by the way. If someone gets into speedrunning from this, that'd be pretty awesome to hear.
But yeah, is that all of the shoutouts that we have?
Yeah, I think we've said our piece, so you guys can take it away.
Yeah, I
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just wanted to mention that we'll be back in just a few minutes with another GameCube mod. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Parallel Universe here on twitch.tv/GDQ. I just wanted to mention before we get started, I did say that we have a lot of events coming up at the beginning of the last run. So naturally, at the beginning of this run, let me talk about one of them. In a few weeks, we have our English restream of the event Speedruns on 2025 on February 27th. But if you're interested in any of the games on the schedule, you can apply to be on like the team of commentators we have here on this restream. Just make sure you do it before February 12th. And like I said, it's going to be the English restream of the French marathon. It's going to be super, super cool. So definitely check it out. But I'm so excited for this next run that we have up on Parallel Universe. And I want to toss it to the only two people on Earth probably who are more familiar with the phrase "Let's go bingo" than I am. Take it away.
Let's go bingo.
Go bingo.
Thank you, Livey. I'm Cabasco. I'm sure my friends here will be calling me Kobe today, as always. And I'm here to run Chibi-Robo any percent cutscene skip. And we'll get into it real soon. Jaxer, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm
Everybody
Jaxler.
knows already.
I am also a bingo aficionado. I also mostly run the any percent on the Wii version of the game. Yes, there is a Wii version. It's complicated.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about it. Or I guess not
Yeah,
as
definitely.
plenty of time because there's no cutscenes. But we're just going to go ahead and start if we're all ready. So I'll count us down from 3. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so thank you. This is Chibi-Robo any percent cutscene skip, which is a mod I made shortly after GDQ that not necessarily skips, but makes as many of the cutscenes in any percent as quick as possible. So right there, we're already within 5 seconds in gameplay of Chibi-Robo, unheard of for Chibi-Robo runners.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm used to like it being like 5 minutes before we like pick up the flower.
Yeah.
It's already getting started.
So for those who don't know, this speedrun is very long. It's usually 2.5 hours on average, a little bit less depending on version and how good you are at the game. But as you can see by the estimate, it's only an hour and a half. So like I said, I made this mod in a program called Unplug made by Deppy Alyssa. I want to shout them out right away. Just has done so much for the Chibi-Robo community, and I've been able to make this mod a practice mod for Chibi-Robo and so much because of that. And I don't have as much time as I'm used to talking about this game because it's usually 5 minutes of cutscenes. Jaxer, please take over for a sec because I'm about to get into the start of this.
So one thing you'll see here right quick is we're going to save and then instantly reload. There is a button shortcut that you can use on a lot of first-party GameCube games that will just like soft reset the game. And so that skips a couple of lines of dialogue from Telly. And so to give you a quick idea on like some of like the base mechanics of this game's a lot different than most. There's not really a game quite like Chibi-Robo. The big thing you're going to see at the start is Kobe sliding. We have this energy meter in the bottom right corner of the screen that acts as our stamina as well as our HP pretty much. And our goal is to try to recharge that battery as little as possible over the course of the run. And so one thing that Kobe is doing right off the bat is something called sliding, where we run forward and then immediately hit backwards on the stick. There's normally a skid animation that plays. And if you use that animation, it actually spends a lot less battery than your normal run cycle.
Nice.
And so right here, we're just going to, face to that wall. That was a good walk.
That was fast.
Yeah, that was
Well,
very
the
fast.
hard one is this one.
Yeah, the hard is the return clip. So we're going to be seeing
Nice.
this. That was nicely done.
That's what you want to see.
So we're going to be seeing a lot of that over the course of the run where you can just clip through walls. The way that it ends up working is that whenever you do that like skid or like backwards turnaround animation, Chibi-Robo's hitbox kind of starts to extend into a wall that he's sliding into. And if you interrupt that slide by pulling open the equip menu, it will snap him into a straight idle animation while like keeping him partially lodged in the wall. And then once you're partially lodged in the wall, you can just walk straight through. And the reason that Kobe even did that in the first place is because there is an out of bounds 100 moolah coin. So the reason that's so valuable is that it respawns repeatedly every time you reload the room. So it's just a free source of money.
Ooh, fast
And
one.
it's fast. It's a fast source of money, which
That
will
was
explain
fast.
why it's fast later on.
That was a faster red crest in the meantime.
Yeah. The other thing too is that we need a lot of money in order to finish the game. The big requirement is that we need at least 10,000 moolah to recharge the Giga battery. And for the course of this run, our goal is to reawaken Giga-Robo because that triggers the credit sequence. We also need a ton of different equipment and stuff like that. So we get the Drake Redcrest suit right there, and we're gonna do a small optimization where we talk to Sophie before we equip the suit. That way, it skips an extra line of dialogue. But yeah, we need a lot of money is the big thing. So go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to explain a little bit about cutscene skip. He's like talking like, oh, skipping an extra line of dialogue and stuff. But like, obviously, you would think, oh, that wouldn't matter because it's cutscene skip. But how I personally tried to design this is it follows the any percent route as much as possible without giving a benefit to having cutscene skip. So if I were to go up to Sophie with the Drake suit equipped in cutscene skip, it would play the full cutscene left in as if I messed up to keep it fair. Like, that's the end goal. It's not quite finished yet, but that would be the end goal of cutscene skip. You can notice there's some lines of dialogue left in, mostly around yes/no prompts, because based on what yes/no prompt you choose, certain lines of dialogue are faster than others. So we want to make sure people don't just, you don't just get to mash A if cutscene skip. It has to be the same. And then anything that rewards moolah or happy points, or usually like moves, NPCs, stuff that would be overall more difficult to easily program out, like, has been kind of left in. This is still a very early version of the mod, all things considered, but I did just want to get that little preface out because there's a lot of stuff we're going to be doing like, oh, this skips that cutscene. Was like, well, aren't there no cutscenes? Well, no, I still got to do it.
Yep. And so something we saw there as well as a chibi door. That's going to be another big source of money for later, but there's a bit of a caveat to which chibi doors we get. We'll go into that in a second. We're going to do a pretty big sequence break here.
Nice.
So we're going to clip through this door. That's a nice first try. And normally the way the intended sequence is supposed to go is that you're supposed to get the mug in order to get past all of the free rangers that start out in the foyer here. But by clipping through that door, the loading zone is always active even when the door is closed. So it allows us just to get straight to the basement. And we want to get to the basement as quickly as possible because the longer you wait to get the Giga Charger and Giga Battery, the more likely it makes it for certain cutscenes to start playing. All right, so this is Basement Hover. And so we're going to be doing a sideways wall clip while we have the copter equipped. And this is going to allow us to land up onto here and get up to the top of these rafters without having access to the blaster yet.
It took a few tries, but that's okay because
you should still be fine on time.
I first tried so much other stuff. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no worries. So there's a couple things we're doing here. We're getting a couple of chibi doors along the way as well. We're trying to have a very specific amount of money by the time that we get to kind of back up to the living room. Because we're going to do a death warp, and we want to have 0 money on the dot when that happens. So now we're going to get the Giga Charger and the Giga Battery here. These are 2 important items that we need in order to hit mandatory story progress flags. The way that a lot of the flags work in this game is that they will cause like an event to happen another day or night cycle in advance. So our goal is to get these flags set up and then make sure that we run down the in-game timer as much as possible. So that timer up in the top left corner is a day-night cycle, and each one lasts 5 minutes in real time. And so a big part of routing the speedrun is making sure that that timer is ticking as much as possible. And there's a couple of things that cause that timer to not tick down. Cutscenes cause it to not tick down, so again, skipping cutscenes is very important. But also certain animations, so opening chibi doors, recharging, going inside of chibi doors are also big factors that can cause you to lose time on the IGT. As well as some other minor things like opening your equipment menu. And so as a result... So as a result, like what chibi doors we pick and sort of how we go about chaining things together is like a really big part of the routing. And I want to shout out Single Scoop as well, who is a big... brain behind this particular route that you're going to be seeing, especially once we get to day 2.
Oh god, day 2.
Yeah, that's right. But I'll shut up for a second.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to mention this is one of the cutscenes where there's still like, this is still minutes shorter than the normal cutscene, but like there's moving parts here, like Giga-Robo changing his position, dropping the battery that just like, wanted to make sure it still happened and proper sequencing. So that's why there's still like, there was some downtime there. But we're gonna, as part of that route that Jackster mentioned, we're gonna actually clean up those tiers so we can have just enough happy points to get a battery upgrade in the next cycle. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the way that battery upgrades work in this game is that you do chores around the house, like cleaning up stains, picking up trash to get happy points. And then at certain happy point thresholds, you'll unlock a new, you'll get a new Chibi-Robo level or whatever, and then you get a new battery upgrade. Generally, like the old train of thought for the longest time was to avoid these upgrades as much as possible because they give you a cutscene and that cutscene slows us down. But we actually recently routed in getting the 100 battery upgrade as early as day 2. And that's going to enable some very specific routes. Usually we can make use, in older runs especially, we were able to make use of the default battery really effectively by using sliding as well as a couple other techniques we'll see later. But yeah, now we're going to get the 100% up to be able to get that 100 battery for later.
So
which makes day 2, which is one of the hardest cycles in the game, a lot easier as well, which is really nice.
Thanks to this random NPC that gives you 1,000 moolah.
Yeah, so we didn't know
much.
about this for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And once that was made aware to us, I think it was Kugane who first started doing it in runs.
Yes.
And as a result, I think it saved 1.5 minutes immediately. It was, Kobe was going for a swag.
Oh, I got the cool pickup in the load zone. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing the out of bounds 100 coin here again. Again, it refreshes every time you reload the room. So this is going to get us to approximately, I believe, the amount, like just the amount of money that
we're going to need to get one of the 50s, but then we'll have it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I will be making it. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So the way this money route at the start is routed out is so that we have 1970 it is, right?
Yes.
Because we need the Chibi Blaster, which is 1,110, and then we need the Charge Chip, which is 860. And so we want to get both of these at the start. This is another part of that kind of new early game route, thanks to single skip.
I guess I'm cleaning. My bad.
Yep. This is why we don't pick up trash and throw it out for money and happy points, by the way. It's so slow.
I got the happy point pull. Happy block.
It takes a while, right? Because you have to actually watch the animation of it going into the trash can.
That too, yes.
Yeah.
I'm intentionally getting my battery really low here because we're also going to be taking an intentional death after I bought everything.
Yeah, and this whole money route is set up just to skip an extra line of dialogue. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, one text box.
Because when you die, Telly will usually say, "Oh, you lost some money. Sorry." But if you're completely broke, Telly just omits that fact and doesn't rub it in, which is really considerate. But it gives us a line of dialogue, so it all kind of comes to a head. And again, this cutscene is what we need to see in order to hit a crucial story flag during
night 2. Yeah.
For context, when we say cycles, we're talking about a single day cycle or a single night cycle. Day 1 was kind of the intro where we picked up the flower. This is the night 1 cycle. So once it transitions back from night to day in a little bit, that will be the start of the day 2 cycle.
Yes, and this game is very front-loaded with night 1 and day 2 probably being the hardest cycles. So, yeah, especially day 2.
We were
talking about this earlier, where it kind of gets easier the longer you get into the run. But it's still not an easy run by any means, but it's just
comparatively
so much at the very beginning.
Yeah, we're gonna exit the Chibi house and go back inside to get the charge chip. It has to unlock. So
you should just be I think you can just buy it right away.
Maybe. But what this cutscene needs is the play where he says they've been developing an all new type of Chibi gear. So,
I feel like I remember buying the charge chip and then seeing this cutscene anyway. But
it could definitely be.
Who knows?
It's been a while since. Listen, we're too bingo pilled.
Yeah, we play a lot of bingo.
Let's go bingo.
Let's go bingo.
Bingo with this game. Let's go bingo.
Every time I get to the late game of Chibi-Robo in any percent, I'm like, all of a sudden I get worse at the game because when was the last time I ever played Chibi-Robo's late game? We don't have to do that in bingo.
I think if the pressure was on for me right now, I would go overestimate if I had to do this. If I had a reasonable estimate for myself, because I haven't done the late game in such a long time, because I spent so much time learning bingo and learning all the doors and all the item locations and stuff. So it's I don't think I can do it. This game's really fun, by the way. I learned all of bingo in a week.
I love Chibi-Robo. We all love Chibi-Robo. That's my intentional death, which is Jackson was talking about. The reason for it is the trauma suit, which we're gonna wake up in right now, which the Z pose for the trauma suit lets us warp back to the Chibi house from anywhere pretty much at the cost of some battery.
Yeah, and so that's going to be really nice during night 3 because we'll talk about it a bit more once we get there, but it's one of the only cycles in the run that isn't time gated, where you can actually end the cycle early if you play the cards right.
You can end it manually.
Yeah, which is pretty rare, and so it's going to get a lot of use there.
Here's the
But as for
upgrade
right-
we were talking about.
Yeah. As for right now, we have a little bit of time left in the cycle, so you can use this as an opportunity to get like a little bit of extra money. You're gonna notice we're at 81 happy points.
Yeah, I was gonna go
If
for
you
the
haven't-
out-of-bounds 100 if I can.
Yeah.
So we'll give it a shot. There is less than a minute left in the cycle for sure. We're down to like probably 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna go for it. So
At the very least, you'll get a 10 coin. And,
yeah.
Something to note as well with like the general movement of this game, you'll notice that we can pick up our plug and it allows us to run faster, but it's actually a pretty small movement speed buff. So generally speaking, the only times you really want to pick up your plug are if you know you're going to be running a long enough distance, or you know you're going to be plugging into something like a utilibot, which we'll see a bit later, or you go for like what Kobe did upon entering living room, which is you pick up the plug as you're walking into a loading zone, which kind of combines the
That's
two
my favorite way.
animations together, which is swag as frick.
Yeah.
But
Day 2 time.
yep, it is time for day 2. So
I'm gonna
this
be
is-
saving.
Yeah,
Don't care.
go ahead and make a safety save.
Oh, come
But-
on. So one thing the cutscene skip mod doesn't give you the leeway on is the bad RNG that can happen at the start of every cycle. Checks.
Where you can just get randomly one of these super Chibi-Robo cutscenes.
That lasts
Generally
like 30
speaking,
seconds.
It's usually like plus or minus one cutscene over the course of a run. But it makes having accurate splits for this game next to impossible.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get at least one or two, but it just kind of is random when you get them. It's annoying.
I gotta
Alright, so
lock in.
Yeah, Kobe's gonna lock in here. So day 2 is gonna start out with us getting some money. We are basically waiting out the timer to make our way to night 2, which is where the next major story is. So we're gonna start out by getting these 50 coins that
Nice.
respawn.
That's definitely it.
Got the optimal movement here as well. Awesome, awesome. And then the big reason we wanted to route in Chibi Blaster and Charge Chip is because of invisible Chibi doors. So another mechanic with some of the Chibi doors in this game is that some of them are invisible and need to be made visible and interactable by hitting them with a Charge Blast. And so they're always in the same position. You're supposed to use the Chibi radar to discover where they are, at least in a casual playthrough, but they are always in the same position every time. So this one's going to give us 300 happy points, or I'm getting my collectibles mixed up. This is going to give us 300 moolah, and then we're going to make our way off of the couch. And then we're going to go ahead and I believe get the lamp door next.
Yes.
Oh, this is a really cursed clip.
Yeah,
Makes
Scoop
sense,
showed
though.
that to me like a few weeks ago at AGDQ when we made
Yeah.
him do a run. He did that clip, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess you could do that.
Alright, so we're doing something here called lamp cutscene skip. Again, even though we had the cutscene skip mod, it would still be time added on at the end because of the way like the timing works. But
Oh, and
we
the
can
cutscene would
find-
just play because I didn't get rid of it because you're supposed to skip it.
Oh, right.
Anything that you can skip, I left in, so you still have to like, do the skip. And you still
Yeah.
get punished for missing it. Should not have gotten rid of my copter, but that's okay. Shoutouts to this hover, and accidentally pressing A up here happens a lot when you're first learning the game.
Yeah,
Especially
so
grabbing
something to
that.
mention as well is like movement you save time on in a really like roundabout way, because a lot of the movement stuff that Kobe's going to be doing is going to save time not in lateral movement but on the recharge, because the more battery you have going into a recharge, the faster the recharge animation is. So we're also going to see a trick here called a plug drop, where we are going to slide off a ledge and then pick up the plug. During certain animations, we are completely invulnerable to fall damage, so we can use that to just fall off the ledge and get a free recharge without having to pull open the copter.
Okay, so
which not
far
only-
so good.
Yeah, so far so good. Probably make a safety save here.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
This is definitely the main spot.
That
where
was
I
the
always
easy
do.
part, by the way.
Yes, that was the easy part. Yeah, the plug drop it does a lot good. It's faster. It saves battery. It just saves menu time. It saves IGT. It saves everything.
All right, so here we're supposed to use the blaster to blow open a hole in order to get into the backyard, which is another cutscene we don't want to see. But there's a second loading zone to access the backyard
Nice.
that is opened by Dad, Mr. Sanderson, when he waters the lawn. So we're just going to get a first try clip. Nicely done. The quicker that you get through that, the more battery that you're going to have. You're also going to notice the map kind of flash up here and there. Kobe's like doing these map buffers where you open the map and then use that map to kind of give you time to press the downward input on the slide so that it's easier to do. You're pretty much going. If you know Smash Bros. Melee at all, it's like doing a dash dance input, like a singular dash dance input, but up and down instead of left and right, which is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I use two fingers. When I play Chibi-Robo, I always have my index finger and my thumb on the left analog stick. That's how I play the entire game because of sliding and clipping.
I'm one of the weirdos that actually does not play with claw grip on my left. But when we do wall clips, pretty much everyone at least claw grips on the right because you're doing a XB input really fast.
Okay,
so
we're not
right
falling
here,
off the tree.
Yeah, we're going to clip through this web that you normally need to break with a charge chip. This mattered a lot more back before we routed that in. But there's going to be a lot of doors that we get here. This is one of the big reasons, again, why we got that extra battery upgrade, is we get a lot more doors in this cycle than we used to. So we're going to get this door right here, and then we're going to be doing one of the most difficult wall clips in the run, which is the bird clip. I can't believe you went for that.
I've been doing it. I always do it. Bird clip.
Okay.
All right.
So this is bird clip. It's really funky geometry you have to stand on. The wall's funky,
All right.
but Kobe got it within like 2 tries,
We're
which is unbelievable.
That's way harder than that looks coming from like first-hand experience.
Yeah, that clip is really awkward. So it's a challenge getting up onto the spot where you need to do the wall clip, and then actually getting the wall clip itself is kind of obnoxious.
If you come at it if you go at the bird's nest from the side, it is like pretty much 100% consistent to jump on top of it, but then you need to like finagle your camera, and because you can't do the wall clip unless you're facing a certain way either. And not to mention the tree is one of the spots in the game where you don't have like a animation warning you that you're about to fall off and like you won't grab the ledge. You just fall.
Die.
You just fall. Die. It's very easy to die on the tree, and it would be devastating because you lose a lot of money. You lose money based like proportional to how much you have, and we have gotten a lot of money this cycle.
I want to say it's like 10% of your net worth.
It's a lot in this game, especially given how strict the Moolah route is.
Really funny little trick right here. If you have your copter open and you let go of one of these like wall climb sidling animations, you can just not spend any battery. It's really great.
Yep.
And wow, you got here really fast on IGT.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go for an extra door on... Well, no, I don't think I have enough battery, actually. If I had like...
If you go for the visible door...
I'm at 12 is the problem. And I didn't get that.
Yeah, there's no way.
Now I definitely can't. If I got that, I might have, but...
Yeah, there's no shot.
Yeah, I'm not going to get there enough. So doors cost 10 battery to open. If I had just a little bit more battery, like even if I had like 10.5 or 11, I would go for it because the cycle is about to end and I would just wait here like I am right now.
Yeah.
But it's okay. That's not that much moolah. It's like 100 behind. Very easy to make up, especially if the out of bounds 100. Very good, Tate. I'm proud of that for sure.
Yeah, so the big...
that's super impressive. GG's.
Yeah. So the big number money-wise that we're looking for is 6,900. Once we get to that threshold, that's going to allow us to... you'll see why that like specific number is important, but that's kind of like the big thing we're targeting right now in terms of our money routing. So now we're heading into night 2. So this is where we get to next progressive part of the story. Whenever you like put in the game battery, wow, 2 in a row is awful. Game sucks.
Game sucks. Let's go bingo.
Let's go bingo. Anyway, so where was I? So when a full day later, so a day set like a night cycle. If it was night 1, for example, night 2 is when this cutscene plays, right? Mm-hmm. After you like bring back the Giga Charger and the Giga Battery, it will activate this cutscene. We actually have to go in and out.
There's 2 cutscenes. Yeah.
So this cutscene that you saw the cinematic like vertical horizontal bars come in for will spawn in spiders into the game, and so spiders will drop scrap when defeated, and so this initial wave will always add up to dropping the same amount.
I'm also very bad at killing them as of late.
Yeah. And then after this initial group, spiders will now begin to spawn somewhat randomly in the house. And so we need a certain amount of scrap in order to complete the route that we're going for here. And so we're going to get to like, it's what 470 or 490, that's right. I remember this video game. And so now we're going to go into the kitchen and look for some more spiders to farm here. We're trying to get enough scrap. I believe it's like 1,200 by the end of the
1,200
run.
total. So like by the end
Yeah.
of next cycle would be the best outcome. Okay, they're not here.
I have
So
a-
there's
I have a
three
quick
Oh,
question.
sorry, go
for
ahead.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so similar to Pikmin, which we had on earlier, you know, there are certain amount of day-night cycles that we want to see here, right?
They're also small.
How many like nights are there? Because I'm pretty sure this game ends on a night, right? How many nights are there in like the percent run?
So it depends on what version you're running.
Yeah.
So on the Wii version,
Oh,
I believe so. Night 4,
oh my god.
I believe that's very lucky.
That's
Oh my
insane.
Wow.
That's
It's raining money.
That's
Holy
it's
crap.
RNG if you get money from pulling drawers, and I almost got the most possible. Like that was insane.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, continue.
That's going to give Kobe a lot of flexibility in case they miss like a door somewhere or something like that. That's actually something you can route around if you're really good with the routing, where if you get enough off of drawer pulls and like out of bounds, like the 100 coin, you can actually end up routing out specific doors if you know like your route in and out.
I'm pretty sure the Wii version can end on like night 4, right?
Yeah, I believe the Wii version ends on night 4.
And then night 5 for our GameCube.
Well, no, because GameCube you have to sleep several cycles, so it's like technically like
Might be 6.
day 6, but it's complicated. It
Yeah.
kind of depends.
Honestly, I don't know why I'm like even surprised that the answer is it's complicated for a run as complicated as this.
Well, it's because the
Yeah,
Wii version has a skip that doesn't work on GameCube.
Yeah, because of course.
Yeah, it crashes the GameCube.
It's worth noting as well that while we're kind of like talking about all of this cycle's really hard as well. We're trying to do like all of this section of the kitchen in like one fell swoop. And then as we go into here, we're going to have really low battery and look for another set of spider spawns. And try
I
to
should have
take care of
enough
them.
if I play it right, but big if.
Yeah, and there's also just a chance that they
Okay,
don't
they spawned here.
on this side. So we got another 5p. So spiders can either
Oh my
generate
god.
10, 5, or 100 scrap. There's another 100 pull. That's not too bad.
Okay.
Another 100?
I was more upset about the fact that they weren't taking
We're so
damage because that just happens.
Yeah. And then we're going to get a recharge here. And then we're going to be...
That is
going into the
ideal,
basement.
what just happened. Definitely
Yeah.
like the best possible outcome right there.
So
Go ahead.
this kind of end of cycle, our next big story thing that we need to go do needs to be during the day. So we basically have half a night cycle to kill, which means we can go ahead and grab... We're basically going to full clear all the chibi doors in basement, which is going to require us to do basement hover again. But Kobe's making really good time through here and got really favorable scrap positions. There's a chance that we could also get some scrap drops going into basement. There's 2 locations we can possibly get scrap in. One is really good. It's right by the plug. We also drop down here because there's this cutscene that has to play.
A little unfortunate, but you do have to see it. All right, back up the
Then we're gonna
stairs.
hop back up here, and we're gonna go for basement hover again. And then
Ugh.
once we get all the chibi doors, then we can start looking for scrap.
Yeah, if you have to take a recharge at the bottom of the stairs, you can sometimes get spiders there if they spawn there, but I'm gonna check afterwards if I have time.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are on the second step is where I do the clip personally. There's many different ways to do this, but this is the way I do it. Oh, we're
First try,
so
nice.
back. Definitely needed that
Nice.
after last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the really nice things, again, about that 100 battery route is it makes day 2 and night 2 just so much more lenient. We used to do this on 80 battery, which
We used to
was really, really
recharge
tight.
before the stairs every time, right? Like ideally, you
Pretty
would
much, yeah. It was kind of just necessary.
just the frog ring. Those are fun collectibles that are not relevant in any percent, but they're placed in really cool locations that make them fun to collect in bingo. Shout out to bingo.
Let's go bingo.
Let's go bingo.
So there's like a ton of little like battery optimizations that Kobe's doing there. Like a big example is where we will do what's called soft hovering, which is where instead of like pressing the A button to like hover and defy gravity for a little bit, you just fall off the ledge instead and not spend the battery to copter. and that's something we'll do in a lot of spots as well. That kind of scared me a little bit.
Don't worry, I'm good. It's good.
There's going to be 2 invisible doors here. Again, we need the charge chip in order to reveal these invisible doors. We're going to go ahead and grab a 500 and 400 moolah door. Different doors have different amounts of moolah in them depending on how difficult they are to reach.
Nice.
With some exceptions. That was a nice plug drop. And if you do it right, you land on the brick, so you get to skip the push and pull puzzle there.
I didn't hold A long enough. Yeah, you
on
save
IGT.
battery and time, but I'm more than good here.
Yeah, IGT's looking great, so we'll have time to look for scrap as well here. Again, we want to try to hit 1200 by the time we we're done looking for scrap. So that's one of the spots where they can spawn is on top.
That was
of
kind of clean.
That was a good plug drop. And then let's see if we get the spawn here.
Oh my god.
My god.
This could put if this is like good enough RNG, which it's looking like no. Because they
You get 200s. Nope.
No, I was really bad, but it's gonna help a lot going into. Do I risk not going to kitchen next cycle?
You could save and reload.
I would, but I mean,
Like I only need.
Oh, you don't have time to save and reload here. Never mind.
No, I only need 250 scrap. So I should still. I will go to kitchen because it's the safe thing to do. But if that gave me like even 100, I could have skipped going to kitchen entirely in this upcoming cycle.
The big thing is we really wanted to have at least 900 scrap
By the end of the cycle. Yeah.
By the end of the cycle. Yeah, I think you just bypass kitchen here and you just go straight to foyer and look for
God.
there. Wow, 3 for 3 is
3 for 3.
generationally bad.
I'm like a minute behind because of RNG only. But I mean, here's the thing. If I skip kitchen, I'm only gonna get foyer scrap. You want me to save reload is what you're saying if I don't get enough.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Because that gives you the best odds going into day 3 because of a new thing. Well, I wouldn't say new because it's been in the run for a while. But because of something Single Scoop found, it's a lot more difficult than it used to be. And the more time you spend having to farm for scrap, the less time you have to go for it, which makes it really tight. So we wanted to make sure we had at least 900 because we are going to buy a bunch of chibi ladders.
Yo, Teriyaki Blues bingo? Sorry. This is where we start our bingo matches usually. It's on this cutscene.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's just kind of like a good general spot where you have most things unlocked and good to go. Yeah, so you can also skip this cutscene.
My bad.
But you have to do it every time for the rest of the, like every time you leave the chibi house for the rest of the game.
You would have to do Teriyaki Blues skip.
Yeah.
And I think there's only ever been like one run done with it, like full to completion by Scoop, and it didn't even like PB because it's so like execution intensive. I still feel bad about finding that one. Jackster, how many times is this?
14.
14? All right. I always think 13. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's for the A hover. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're
gonna
gonna
look for scrap here.
spiders. Gonna go to this location first. Okay.
Nice. Take the save now, so you can quit and reload.
If it's bad, oh yeah, you're thinking as if you get screwed over. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think like that. You got it. I see what you're going for. And that way we
you
don't
can
lose
only
money.
really afford like if you do this all like I think statistically you're likely to get the scrap. You need.
Yeah, and we need the IGT if I'm gonna do a specific strat. So. Oh, it's the bad spawn. Uh-oh. Well, it's 4.
Here we go.
It's
Okay.
4.
It's 4.
It could have been 3. Oh, okay. If I just get 100. Am I resetting or am I?
Yeah, I think you reset here. I think you soft reset.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is that you can quit and reload, and you can also do this like after you destroy the spy doors. So you can like if you want to get a lot of scrap casually, you can do that.
This is the Jackster method. My RNG was bad, so I will reset. So it also saves me IGT of having to look for it. Oh, that's huge. If I can just get... Oh, okay, I'm just gone.
There you go.
That's insane, actually. So that's pretty good. I'm going to get hit here. That's okay. I have more than enough battery. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we're good. So, yes, we have the IGT. We have over 600 scrap, so that's enough for kitchen ladder and foyer warp, and we're good to go. Did save reloading make the ladder go higher, or is that only on exiting the room? It did.
Oh,
Dude,
what?
wait, we meant to do this. We totally meant to do this. Now I don't have to press A. I don't think we ever do that.
Wait, hold on. Now I want to test something after this run. Because like, if you in theory like put it up
by one
slot,
and then
you went and quit and reloaded, does that just save all that time?
We've never tried to save reload there, I guess. Or like, it's always been we do it after.
You're welcome, Chibi-Robo community.
That's never happened before.
I can't believe we're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2 on a show with 2 games for that to ever happen.
Did it happen last time?
It did, yeah.
Pikmin²? That's cool. All right, Jackson, I have enough IGT for it, right?
Yeah, you definitely do.
All right.
Make sure you
charge.
I would recharge and save just to be
Yes,
safe.
absolutely.
So this might be the single hardest strat in the entire run, which is a series of cutscene skips. So the way what we're trying to do is the thing we need to do to trigger the next story beat is open the slats of the bedroom door, which allows us to go into the bedroom at night. There's not even a loading zone there unless you do this like bit of
you
like,
can't even clip
sequence,
into it,
right? And there's normally a bunch of things you need to climb up a rope, and then you also need to deal with it. Like there's this bell as well that the game forces you to look at, and it's really annoying, right? We're gonna attempt to skip that and get some chibi doors along the way. It's really hard. We safety saves just to make sure. But what we're gonna do is we're going to climb up towards like the top of the room. And so Kobe's gonna have to focus on sliding here a good bit. We're trying to preserve as much battery here as possible. And we should, because we're at like halfway into the IGT, we have about 2.5 minutes to get this sequence done, which should be plenty of time. We have a lot that we're trying to do here. So the first step is to make sure that we get all the way to the top, and then we're gonna do one of the coolest like skips / strats in the entire game, which I believe we call Rafter Skip now.
Yes.
Which I believe was also found by Single Scoop, which shouldn't surprise anyone at this point.
Yeah, Scoop's the GOAT. Scoop finds all the viable stuff. I find the teriyaki blues of the game. My bad.
It's all good. I thought you were gonna go for like a weird plug drop thing off that. And I'm like,
absolutely not. You do not have enough space. Look at that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I closed the copter just for safety of not pressing A.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so here's how this is gonna go down. We are going to, in the direction of the camera, head forward. We're gonna head towards that like angled part of the ceiling, and that's just a flat wall that we can clip through. We're gonna go ahead and equip the copter, run forward until we can't move further anymore. Kobe's using the map to line this up. This is gonna allow us to land on the top of these blinds right here. And then Kobe is lining up for a very specific spot. Where
I do this to line it up.
We drop off of there to line up, and then we're going to do a standing hover right there, and then there's a little bit of a ledge that allows us to start clipping into the wall here. We're gonna do 3 wall clips in a row here.
Very good.
This is gonna allow us to clip far enough into the wall so that hopefully we hold left, boom, nice. So this is Rafter Skip. You're normally supposed to access a bunch of these chibi doors with a bridge utilibot, which takes forever to get.
And use.
And so the big reason behind this, for one, is we get 2 chibi doors here. We can't get all 4. We could get all 4 of them if we had more time and battery, but we're only going to get the 2 most valuable ones right here. Again, we're trying to do this run in as few chibi doors as possible, just because again, every time we open a chibi door, it pauses the IGT, which pauses the pace that we can advance the game's story forward. And so we're not out of the woods just yet. We got to do a soft hover right here in order to land on this bit of cable, which is going to allow us to climb back up. And if we have enough IGT, we can land on the slats at the very end of this sequence, which allows us to skip, I want to say 20 to 30 seconds of cutscene. It might not be that much. But
Okay.
It's enough to be worth going for.
Okay, I'm making it.
Yeah, you're definitely making that.
Okay.
Extremely well done. Nice.
This is so stressful.
That is by far the hardest thing in the run.
I've done it like in bingo once. I learned it for bingo at SGDQ, but There we go. I did it in my practice run earlier today, but that was definitely like the best I've done it. Those 3 wall clips were pretty fast, so I'm happy about that.
That was extremely well done.
I just want to mention that this is a run of a mod where the game is a lot shorter, and this was on Hotfix like forever ago at this point. It was on Think Fast, right, where it was a race with season 2.
Yes.
Yeah, and that took like the entire show, and this is like half of that. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is like so impressive. Like, big ups to you, Kobe, for like
Thank
making
you.
this with like the help of everyone else.
I think Single Scoop did the math, and it was like more than half the speedrun is cutscene.
Yes. That
Which is
I believe
just
it. And like
unbelievable.
when you say that to people who don't play the game, they're like, "Oh, no way, that's true." But ever since I made the mod, I can be like, I mean, look at the time difference.
Here you are.
It's a whole like hour, like sometimes even more. Like once optimized, because like I said, the mod right now there's still some cutscenes, like there's still parts of it left. Like that I wasn't able to skip properly, but it really is that much of the game. All right, so we're warping.
Important to note as well, the big story beat that we need to do is we need to go talk to Mom at night in the bedroom. And so we can only do that by opening the slats, so it's really good that we got that taken care of. But there's actually, we can actually advance to the end of the cycle immediately in this sequence by getting the toy receipt, which we need anyway, and giving it to her at night. If you give it to her during the day, it doesn't actually do this. Interestingly enough, it only works if you do this at night. So that's a big reason we do this now.
Yeah.
And so, really importantly, it was really critical that we had that 600 scrap by the time we got here, because we need kitchen ladder for getting the spoon later. We also need this warp. Well, we don't technically need it, but
We need
it allows
it.
us to get. We need it. Yeah, emotionally, we need it.
It saves so much time and battery.
Yeah, especially in this cycle, especially because we don't have to worry about the IGT in the same way of like winding down the clock. We just need to get to the end of the cycle as fast as possible, which is like pretty rare for this game. So it's like
We're
kinda
speedrunning.
interesting. Speedrun,
Yeah, whoa. Who would have thought?
We're gonna be seeing another plug drop as we exit here. We need to talk to Mom in order to spawn the toy receipt to begin with. But again, the plug dropping is a lot faster, even in movement speed wise, than actually just floating down with the
Yeah.
copter. So we're gonna be doing plug dropping whenever possible. It's also important that we have like enough battery by the time we get to Mom here, because we're gonna talk to her, and now we're gonna use that trauma suit that we unlocked. The thing we didn't mention is that there's 2 ways to get the trauma suit. You can either buy it for like
It's like
17
666 or something.
it's like a
cursed.
ridiculous, like way more money than it ought to. You can either buy it for that, or you can
I
get
did
it
not
for
need to
free
say
by
yes
dying.
there. I autopilot. I am ahead. I am
You're-
on track on Mula. I did not need to say yes there.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Safety. More battery for later.
We're gonna step away from Mom here because it will cause like an extra little bit of cutscene slowdown to play when you activate the Z pose here.
I can't believe
this is-
Chibi-Robo is dead.
Unbelievable.
So when you use a trauma suit, it basically does exactly what the game would do when you die, minus the part where you lose your Mula. Very important. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't think we would use it. Also, get
You
the
also
ghost
get the
suit.
best costume in the
Yeah.
game.
I guess technically saying yes to Mom makes it so I don't have to go grab another out of bounds 100.
Yeah.
And I don't need to drag the half point block to the 50. I was like 100 behind before, but now I'm 50 ahead. You're supposed to come out of the cycle of 6150, and I'm at 6200 right now, so we're good.
You can skip a out of bounds 100 coin on the way.
Yeah, I can just go straight to the receipt and go right upstairs
Yeah.
in the little ghost suit. So normally a cutscene will play right here where Mr. Sanderson hides the receipt for the toy he bought. We haven't really talked much about the story. We would normally talk about the story so much, but only what's giving the cutscenes will do. Jackson, do you want to give a little synopsis on our way up?
Yeah, so this is we are in the Sandersons household, and so there's a bit of marital strife going on. So the lore of this game is that there is this the family before Jenny, the daughter, was born, had another robotic assistant in their house named Giga-Robo. And Giga-Robo, they had to shut down and kind of leave in the basement. Nice cookie crumbs. They had to,
My bad.
so Giga-Robo took up a lot of energy usage, so it was making the family go broke. So they had to shut Giga-Robo down. But what Giga-Robo ended up doing is he saved these aliens that like fell down from the sky, and they granted
Spoilers.
him
I guess we would have
free
seen that in the cutscene that got skipped.
Yeah, we would have seen that. Yeah, but he is able to have a wish granted, a couple like wish granted, and his first wish is to have friends. So it causes all the toys to spring to life. That's why all the toys kind of spring to life and move around like it's Toy Story. But his other wish was to be basically not need battery anymore, so that he wouldn't cause problems for the family's finances. And so, unfortunately, the aliens were not able to grant that wish at the time. They had to go back to the wish. They had to go back to wish.com to get another wish. Unfortunately, the way things worked out, Giga-Robo is taking a nap, and our job is going to be to go and summon those aliens later. But Chibi-Robo in this picture is another robot that they pick up for. They say it's for Jenny's birthday, but really the dad wants the extra robot
Mr. Sanderson
around.
just loves toys and gadgets,
Yeah.
and is a little bit irresponsible with his money.
Oh, completely irresponsible. But yeah, so kind of what we're doing right now is kind of forcing the issue with Dad's financial irresponsibility, where we give another undisclosed toy receipt to Mrs. Sanderson, which kind of makes the final straw on the camel's back, and she locks herself in her room and basically will threaten something very funny later.
I like how because I picked up the cookie crumb, I had to menu there.
Yeah.
This cutscene gets a little glitched out just because of the way it's set up in the cutscenes get mod. Like I said, this is a very early version. It is available, and it is great for running, but like there's some funny little cutscene quirks here and there.
Yeah, like that.
Just like where the camera isn't set up, or like NPCs move in a weird way. I always want to make sure that NPCs end up at their required spots, so it doesn't like desync of how the main game would actually be. Important stuff, in my opinion. I'm probably gonna get a battery upgrade. So
Yeah,
All I'm
you
saying
probably
is
are,
that
which is
this
fine.
game's story is very, very silly, but the host of Parallel Universe, Limey_SR, I have a wish. I wish that for in Twitch chat, we had Twitch Prime subs, or tier ones. I don't judge. I don't discriminate between different types of subs, but getting subs would be nice, and I do wish for that. So if you'd like to make my wish come true,
People have been saying
maybe help
this.
support GDQ and the events that we do.
Ooh, you're gonna support GDQ Hotfix.
Hypnosis. Ooh.
I'm gonna get the spoon on a different cycle because it's GameCube, or like just because I
Yeah.
can do that later.
Yeah, you can do it later.
What is that? My fourth Super Chibi-Robo cutscene this run.
Oh my god.
That
yeah.
it's I am definitely a minute behind due to the RNG of Super Chibi-Robo cutscenes right now.
But like you've been playing great, so it's like,
yeah. This game,
Yeah, the game has to keep you humble.
the game, as much as I love it, it has some RNG that we definitely have talked about and will be talking about more to come. Yippee! But for now, we have a very important story segment coming up. Knowers know. Fans, people who watch the bingo run definitely know.
Yeah. If people who went to youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick to watch, the VODs of the event, know about what's coming up.
So this is actually something that's slightly faster. Normally you like to climb up that door manually because it lets the IGT run dry, but it's actually like much faster to let Mr. Sanderson pull you up there instead.
Yeah, and with the extra IGT time, it's really useful if you're behind on Mula or something. This is one of the good cycles that's good to catch up on Mula. So is Night 3 when you're first starting out, because like Jaxer said, you're not tied to the cycle time. Usually, like I finished that cycle with like half of it left. So that's a good one to make up Mula. Day 4 is usually where I would end up getting more Mula to make up for what I missed. But
Yeah.
we're doing pretty good, I'd say, so far. So there we got the love letter. That's definitely what it is, right?
Definitely a love letter.
Yeah. It's a love letter. Asterisk. Yeah.
So funny gaming fact, the slat, even though the slats is where you're supposed to go, that loading zone only on exit is still there.
Yeah.
Going the other way, it's deloaded.
All right, here we go. Everybody, it's time for the Sandersons to. This is normally the best cutscene in the game. I had to keep the most iconic spot in. Divorce. So what's
Yeah, I've seen some love in chat for that. I don't know if I would say
love? Yeah. So
I've seen some
divorce
distaste in chat for that.
Jaxer, go ahead. Explain divorce as a concept. Explain what just happened.
So mom is threatening divorce. The parents are
rough.
fighting again. It's pretty rough, but This is going to hit a crucial story flag that is going to make the Chibi radar available in the shop. And it only has one real use, which is to summon the aliens at the crop circle in the
speed runs.
But we do need that really bad.
We do. It is required. And since this is GameCube, I'm going to start getting the pajamas.
Yeah, so this is where like the routes really start to diverge between the GameCube version of the game and the Wii version of the game. And the reason for that is that the Wii version has a skip that is exclusive to that version, that the game, it works on GameCube, but it crashes when you would want to use it.
It probably wouldn't crash on cutscene skip, ironically, because the cutscene gets skipped. That would cause it to crash, but I'm obviously not gonna go for that.
Yeah, let's not re-implement a crash, you know?
No, let's not do that.
So basically what that skip allows you to do is get the, so in order to save Giga-Robo, there's a couple different steps you need to do. And one of them is to locate the missing left leg and reattach it. And the left leg is in that silver suitcase that we just passed by.
Yeah.
And normally you need to go get a passcode in order to be able to even like interact with it in the first place. And without the game having problems, right? And so to do that, you have to go back in time. Yes, that's the thing you do in this game. We'll do that later. So you'd go back in time. You need basically a dog bone as part of the puzzle, which allows you to read the code. And then once you read the code, then you can grab the leg. On the Wii version of the game, you can use something called the drawer glitch to actually clip inside the briefcase and pick up the leg, which allows you to skip having to get the dog bone, which pretty much skips having to get the spoon.
Jackson,
So what's up?
I'm so ahead on Mula. I think this entire half cycle is dead time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go try to grab 100. Do you know how much Mula's in this left door up here?
It's 150.
Oh, that's perfect. I should end up like right around 6960. So, yeah, this is a little, mainly because I pressed A earlier to say yes to Mrs. Sanderson. Which I was definitely not supposed to do when I was this ahead, but I pretty much already have all the moolah I need, so there's not going to be much of a point for me doing anything, which I'm not used to, so that is more than I need, so I'm just going to exit. That's okay. Anything fun I can do in the meantime, Jaxer, to waste this cycle away?
You could do the stereo clip.
I don't know how to do stereo clip, but you can walk me through it.
I can walk you through it. All right, so you're going to climb up the ladder.
I don't have much battery. Yeah.
It looks
cool.
We'll show you all an out of balance that y'all can do at home.
So the problem right now is I have enough moolah, and there's still 2 minutes left in the cycle, and there's no point in me doing anything because that would just waste the cycle. All right, Jack, so how do I do this clip?
Okay, so you're gonna go up to the up over the stereo and onto the ledge.
Onto
that ledge, that brown ledge.
Yeah. All right.
And you're gonna move slightly to the left so that you ledge hang. That you gotta go a little further to the left. And then you sidle to the right until you get in front of that knob. Drop down. Walk forward.
Yay! Whoa, learning in real time. So yeah, this usually doesn't happen. It's because I said yes to Mrs. Sanderson when she asked, did you come to check in on me?
Oh, because you usually get another chibi door here.
Yeah, you usually get another chibi door, there's some more movement. I would have still had some downtime because, like I said, this cycle, there's, if you've been on point with Mula, and also I got really good drawer RNG.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe it was actually fast to say yes to Mom because you got just enough that you needed. But
yeah, I mean, theoretically, it's fast. It's good that I have nothing to do because that means I don't stop the IGT at all, and it goes down as quickly as possible. But it's also really boring.
Yeah, it is what it be.
It's okay. There's only 30. Limey, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I wanted to see this pay off before I say something, but now it's paid off, so I can talk about something like another event, like maybe Frost Fatalis 2025. That's an all-woman and femme spearing event. Who knows? Maybe you might be supporting National Women's Law Center, and maybe you can visit gamesdoneclick.com/FrameFatalis to find out more information about that, or you can use !FF in Twitch chat. The schedule's out now. It's super, super good. The other host of this show, because there's 2 hosts on this show sometimes, Helix13_, who I know some people in this call might have feelings about.
Okay.
it has a bonus run in. If you've ever
Eternal
seen
beat.
Monkey Ball, the newest Monkey Ball game, Banana Rumble, the one with Among Us, that is a bonus run for that. So definitely get in your moolah for that run to happen once the event is live, obviously.
I also got to shout out Celestial Shy, who's going to be doing Neopets the Darkest Fairy on
Nice.
the first day. I am so excited for that. Shy's been working really hard on that, so make sure you tune in for that.
Yeah, there's also a whole baseball block in that event too.
Yeah,
We gotta start asking Twitch chat for the outcome of this upcoming 50-50.
Oh
Jackson?
yeah, it's that time of the day. So here's what we have a question for y'all, Twitch chat. You're gonna give an answer to a question that I'm not gonna post to you. So you're gonna just type in chat yes or no.
Yeah.
Pick one.
We have a
Don't pick both.
50-50. We have a
Don't be
50-50
a
coming
fence
up.
sitter. Say yes or say no.
I have a backup save, but we're basically gonna be gambling all of our money. The entire thing. We still, believe it or not, need a lot more moolah for this game to be finished. But what we have done of this route is get just enough money to gamble it all away. Let's go gambling.
Wait,
And,
actually, could we do is it too late to do like a Twitch poll or
prediction?
I don't know.
It might be at this point. It's
We got a lot of people answering
because there's not a lot of time left, but it is overwhelmingly no right now. There's
It is overwhelmingly
a few
no.
no's
Yeah.
to a single yes.
So we're saying no. So we're looking for Pico's left eye. All right.
Did I say no last time, or did I say yes?
You said yes in the practice run, and I got it first try.
Okay.
So
So that's where my vote is, but Twishot's saying overwhelmingly no.
Okay. Well, then we'll say no. So we're gonna go ahead and
yeah.
drop down and make a safety save. Very important. I do have a backup save in case we get really bad RNG and it doesn't happen like 2 or 3 times in a row. So I'm just gonna go. Thankfully, there's no spiders that spawned here. That would make this a little annoying, but it's okay. We're just gonna go ahead and take our safety save. And we're gonna say hello
I'm
to
seeing some
Pico.
love for the divorce and the gambling in this game. This is just like a real video game.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
Pico. We hate him, right, Jaxer?
Yeah, Pico sucks.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to when I started speedrunning and I was really bad at this game and I went for 3 Pico gambles because I didn't know how to route this game.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was not smart. But the way this game works is that you gamble as much money as you want. And if you win, you double that money you put in. If you lose, you get all that money back converted into happy points, essentially. And so we want the money.
Okay,
because
we're
we
looking
need to
for
have, like,
our right, his left.
yeah.
If his left eye, our right eye opens, that's a win. And this is RNG how long this run will last.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And oh my goodness.
It's
this
a
is
long
taking
one.
a
It's a
while.
long one.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we'll go for it. How many times do you think we should go for it? Cutscene skip makes it not as long, so
We are on cutscene skip. I'd say maybe give
3?
it at most 5.
At
I was
no.
gonna say yeah. 4 or 5 seems totally reasonable here, and I just want to say my yes vote paid off.
All right, what are we doing this time? What are we thinking?
Twishot, load it up.
We had a couple of yeses come in most recently, so we can go for yes.
I said the funny.
That is so funny, I cannot even laugh. It's a great line.
Yeah, my bad. If you say you're gonna bet 0 moolah, he says that. All right, here we go again. Are we saying yes this time?
I think we're saying yes.
We're saying yes this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes was the most recent. I'm seeing some more no votes so we can do no next time.
All right, now we're looking for the one that just opened. His right, our left. Also, this is an additional bad RNG. I did a little funny on the dialogue where I changed it to say you would disrupt the bad RNG you got. It's the same amount of characters, so it's the same amount of time lose. But there's basically an RNG chance of him saying an extra thing there that makes you lose even more time, because why not? So here we go again. Another long suspense.
Let's go gambling.
Oh, a fast one and correct. Yippee! That was also really fast.
Let's go.
Please say
I love
no, thank you.
gambling.
Jackson.
I want to give a specific shout out to Glitch PhD who got a first try no save Pico gamble
And then said yes.
said yes to keep playing.
I
gonna use the-
probably have enough IGT to walk, but we're just gonna play it safe.
Yeah.
Plank weird. Oh, I see how it is. Of course, push the dead body around. That's Captain Plankbeard, an NPC. I like to joke has the most screen time out of any NPC in the game. But that's with cutscenes. His cutscenes are so long, and there's like 4 of them. Thankfully, we don't have to see any of them. He is funny, I will admit, but yeah. All right, so we're buying the radar, and we're gonna have the plot be even crazier now.
Yep. So, to give you an idea what all this money is for, again, we needed 10k moolah in order to fill up the Giga battery.
Should I buy the hot rod?
Do not buy the hot rod. I would have screamed. But we buy the radar because we need that to advance the story. We're going to be filling up the Giga Charger and Giga Battery. You don't actually technically have to do that right now, but most people do, so they don't forget.
I do it on the way back.
Oh, you might be a couple moolah short for what's it called, for Alien Ear Chip.
I'll grab a 50. It's not by much.
Grab a 50 just to be safe.
Yeah, you're right. You're supposed to.
You have IGT to burn, so it's like
the route accounts for you walking back up the stairs, which usually grabs like some 10s. How much is Alien Ear Chip, Jaxer? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's
20.
When you get to 50, you will definitely. It's 2.5. Yeah, I think it's 2.550 or
220.50.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
All right. I mean, if not, I can go grab an out of bounds 100 and we'll be good.
Yeah.
I had more than enough. I was ahead on moolah anyways.
Yeah.
So
we're doing
we can definitely, like, if it ends up, I'm pretty sure it's 2.250. So I think I was 10 under. I could have actually grabbed a 10 and then had 0 moolah after, and we could have had the optimal route. But that's okay. Didn't know how much moolah I was at. But we're gonna go get rid of these weeds. This is the only trash we intentionally pick up. I know I picked up 2 pieces of trash in this run by accident. So this is the only trash we actually intentionally pick up because it's just required for story progression. And these alien cutscenes, spoilers, these are definitely the longest ones still left in cutscene skip just because they're so intricate. And like, I didn't want to miss any story flags when I was editing the game. So this is gonna go on for a little bit, which is it also ends up being a little funny looking. But Limey, if you want to do any more announcements or anything, this would be your time.
Of course, I just wanted to say that, like, I'm so happy as, like, you know, someone who speedruns other games that this mod exists, because, like, it makes it, like, so much more, like, digestible as a run, because it's not, like, 2:45 anymore, it's 1:30. It makes me so happy.
It also makes it, like, there's also, like, as from a viewer's perspective, like, all that downtime, like, especially learning, like, okay, now I gotta skip 10 minutes in the video until the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, anyone who's enjoying Hotfix right now, you can go to GDQ.GG/Hotfix to check out the season 4 schedule. You can see all of the games that we have for, like, the next week. It's super great. And then also, you know, like, as we go through more Hotfix, we have more seasons, we get more shows. You can see what shows we bring on, you know, what games I have on, all that stuff. All on the Hotfix page. It's super, super cool. You can also see more information about all the shows. I think it's worth checking out. Or if you want to join the Discord, you can talk all about that, you know, generally in the Hotfix section of the GDQ Discord. There's also a role you can get to see all of the different, like, pings and like, show announcements and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So we had to go back to the Chibi house to buy the alien ear chip. We have to watch that cutscene, and I have the trauma suit so I could warp back, but we don't want to have a lot of leftover IGT, so we're gonna go ahead and take the walk. It's not very long, and we should it should be lining up pretty well, especially if that extra 50.
This is the last cycle we have to worry about birding IGT as well. So I apologize. There is a train honking its horn in the background.
Sorry, I couldn't hear it. Oh, 2150. We were fine.
Oh, okay. I'm
all good. I understand.
It ends in 5-0. I didn't realize you had a whole.
We know all of the. The thing about this, like we were saying at the start of the run, is late game Chibi-Robo, we don't play it nearly as much. We don't get alien ear chip at all in bingo. So, don't know those parts as well anymore.
Yeah.
Alright, do this while I'm here.
This game, it's one of those games where you spend as much time playing it in a spreadsheet as you do, like, playing the game.
Speaking of a spreadsheet, I'm not using it right now, but there is a spreadsheet with every single, like, point of money opportunity in this game, and, like, routing made by Haxie. Shoutouts to
It
them.
is so nice.
Shoutouts to them for making the
It's such a
spreadsheet.
good resource.
Yeah.
And the bingo stuff. Axie's done a lot for our resources for the game.
It has like a bingo flowchart on it, which is
Yes.
really nice.
It's done a lot. It's like a adjustable spreadsheet where you can make a copy of it and you can check mark what chibi doors you've gotten, and it adds up the moolah for you to say how much moolah you need, how much moolah you might be ahead or behind at the end of a cycle by. And it's just very useful for planning out and making routes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we, this is another one of those cutscenes that's like, because it's so incremental that there's no point in coding in a skip, because it would be basically the same thing of just making it fill up each time and have the correct items spawn and all of that. Probably one of those things is going to get fixed when I come back to polishing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is the last one. So we're going to get
It's
the
worth
fully charged
noting,
battery.
too, that like the modding tools for this game Unplug have advanced like so much, even within like the last year or two.
Yes.
Because this game uses a custom scripting engine, which basically means like the code, like not like the game engine code, but like the code for like events and for gameplay features and like spawning things in and stuff like that. Like we didn't like, it was custom, so it was like kind of hard to figure out, but Unplug basically allows us to rewrite the code and write our own code.
It's great.
It completely breaks like the door open, and apparently it's also like the same scripting engine is used in a couple of other games that Skip made. I believe it's used in Captain Rainbow.
I was going to say, I heard it was
as
used in
well,
Captain Rainbow. Yeah.
Which,
Can I say something like embarrassing?
Yeah.
go for it.
I just realized right now why it's called Unplug.
Yeah.
You see it.
Yeah, I get it now, I think.
Yeah.
The main thing, like, cutscene skips a lot of just like cutting out like parts of the code, but the other mod I have made for this game is a practice tool, mostly for bingo. I made it the week I was at GDQ for the bingo run in order to help me
Yeah.
practice. And it is available for use. It's mostly centered around bingo, but it has the tools to help you practice any percent. I was using it a lot today to help me practice specific
Yeah.
cycles, mainly day 2 and night 2, but it helps a lot.
It's really interesting too, because it ends up using a UI that was like part of a debug menu that was left over in the game's code.
Yes.
Oh, wait, before we even get into that, we have a skip we're going to do here, which is called Triple Blizzard Skip. So there's a cutscene that is supposed to play where Drake Redcrest is like, hey, those are things that look like bad guys. But if you get on that little ledge right there and hover into the loading zone, a lot of the cutscene triggers in this game are very thin in terms of height. So they're like very low to the ground.
Unless it's the
So
Plank
you can
Theater
just-
Frog one.
Yeah, unless it's one of those. So you can just completely bypass it that way. And that actually saves it, like in speedruns, it saves like a
Well,
minute?
it depends, because normally what we used to do to skip it was trauma warp, but then this method, it's better on the IGT.
Yeah, so that saves even more.
Because when you trauma warp, you have to do the cutscene. When you get back to the Chibi house, you have to wait for it to happen, and there's all that stuff.
That used to be the biggest reason you got the trauma suit, other than
Divorce.
optimizations in Night 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna take the aliens to see their friend, which is Giga-Robo, and they're gonna get all sad. Like, it's not gonna happen because it's a cutscene skip, but they get all sad because Giga-Robo is very much, well, they call him dead, but he's obviously just out of battery. But they get sad about it. Plankbeard gets sad. They give us a bunch of happy points here. There's a little fun. They get stuck in their walking animation of the mod. Look at them go. So I have downtime here, correct, Jaxer? I don't have to go back up.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Not in the Wii version of the game, we would go to the end of the game right now. But
Yeah, we would go do early leg early. Which,
so I'm just gonna go out of bounds to some fun out of bounds secret. Plankbeard has some treasure maps that he gives you after you do his story, and they're stored out of bounds. You would think this would be pretty cool for like 100% run, but these are not interactable. You cannot pick them up, but they're here just as the objects. So that's fun. We have like a little under a minute. This is probably your last opportunity to say something, Limey. So
yeah, and also as well, if anybody has any questions about this game, this mod, any of the modding tools and what people are working on with this game, feel free to let us know. We're also working on like a randomizer too. I need to get back on working on that because that's kind of my.
I'm so excited for the randomizer because I want to like learn how to play that real good. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're spoiling me with like the downtime. I like don't
Go
have
ahead.
anything else.
That's all right. We can join the Chibi-Robo Discord.
Yeah, join the Chibi-Robo Discord. Follow the runner and the commentator, please. Jackson is great. Kobe's great.
Thank you.
We haven't played in forever, but we do like to play bingo a lot.
Let's go
if you're
bingo.
interested in seeing more, let's go bingo. I guess we didn't
I
really.
want to do like a team-based bingo where like with like one of the good players and one of the bad players get teamed together. We can do like 2v2 lockout. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
One of the
we've
most
done 2v2 lockout before. It was really.
Oop did a really crazy strat that none of us had ever heard of before with the birdhouse.
Yeah.
We've done, I think, the most fun format for bingo besides lockout is 3-player co-op blackout bingo. We did it once, and it was
That
really
is
fun.
a really fun.
I'd be
format.
so down to do that. Actually, that sounds so fun.
It was
Yeah,
really
we'll
good.
teach you.
We're so back. Okay, so I gotta go get pajamas, and we're
Yeah,
going
so
to
this
some
is like
game.
the big difference, and why we're not really worried about burning the IGT anymore, is because some of the stuff we did in day 4 when we were talking to Mom was to set up getting the pajamas costume, which when you use that costume Z pose allows you to sleep and skip straight to the end of the cycle. So this is normally bypassed in the Wii route because by the time you would unlock it, you don't need to use it for anything. So it would just be a waste, right? But for this route, there's a couple more cycle-based things that we need to worry about. And it's really nice that the pajamas exist. Otherwise, we would probably be waiting around for the next 2 cycles, and this wouldn't really be much of a great
speedrun. It would become Nintendo Land speedrun. Shouts to that. Sorry, it's just random factoid in my head because I tried to learn that run, and at the end of that
just
run,
Nintendo Land catching a random stray during the Chibi-Robo.
listen, it's a cool run for 2 hours, and then you AFK for an hour. So keep going.
All right, so again, the pajamas allow us to skip forward the day. The reason we need to do that is because we need the dog bone to spawn. We need the dog bone in order to, like I said earlier, read the passcode to open the suitcase so that it doesn't crash the game when we get the leg. And so that doesn't spawn in for another couple of cycles. We need to sleep this day cycle and another night cycle before it will start having the chance to spawn in. And so because of that, we are going to grab the pajamas and use that to skip forward and save us a bunch of time.
He's eepy.
He is so eepy.
It's also a really cute costume. You can actually get the pajamas in 3 different colors based on what item you give Mrs. Sanderson when she asks you. But I mean, in the speedrun, we're just gonna grab the one that's spawns literally right next to her, which is the old boxers, which gives us these pajamas.
I like the blue ones the best, honestly.
Yeah,
it
there's-
feels like the canon choice.
There's a red and a pink. One of them is in Jenny's room, and the other one's also in the bedroom, but up top.
No, they're both in the bedroom, right?
Oh, are they? I thought one of them was in Jenny's room.
No, I don't think so.
I've never grabbed them before, so.
I see.
I've seen them in the Y vision, I've seen 1 or 2 of them. So like Jackson said, we're just gonna wake up and go right back to sleep.
I also
and-
just want to point out that Chibi-Robo puts a little pillow under his head.
Yeah. Can't really see it because the stairs are kind of, it's right there.
Yeah, you can see that little red knapsack.
And
It's so cute.
We're gonna go check and see if we get some good RNG, right?
Yeah. So the bone can spawn in a couple of different locations. There's a couple of spots outside in the backyard it can spawn, or there's one spot in the kitchen where it can spawn.
That's
If
where we
get
want
the kitchen
it.
spawn, that's the one we really want, but it's not a guarantee. This is also why we bought the kitchen ladder, is so that if we don't get the inside bone spawn, we can get the spoon and dig it out of the earth in the backyard. So
Let's see what we got.
Let's see if the game is nice to us.
It hasn't been today.
Yeah.
Not with I'm 4 minutes behind because of Seaford or Chibi-Robo cutscenes and other stuff. Nope. All right. Well, let's go do our walk of shame to the spoon, shall we? Oh, hey, Mr. Sanderson. Hey, wait. Actually, good RNG. Mr. Sanderson is here, so that means we don't have to watch the selfie cutscene.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that interaction exists.
Yeah, because
So-
we never got the mug. We skipped one of the key progression items that everybody who's ever played this game probably gets.
Oh, you know why you also had so much downtime in day 4? I forgot Scoop's insane and gets spooned during.
I usually
4.
get it as well, but I just didn't feel like it that time because I wanted to.
That's so fair.
I wanted to bank on it not being needed, but
4,
Oh, well.
5, 6.
Ah.
There you go.
there we go.
No, you were good.
It's always a little finicky. Oh, you were right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks can be deceiving.
And then once we get the dog bone, we're pretty much good to
What am I
go.
doing? I can just go to eep. I'm so used to doing that on day 4 where you go straight to divorce after getting the spoon. So I started doing that. I was like, wait a minute, I'm throwing.
What's happening here?
All right.
Yeah, so it needs to be nighttime in order to summon the aliens. So regardless of whether the bone spawns in the kitchen or not, we get the spoon and then we take a nap because it needs to be nighttime. So the bone's
That is
not
our
gonna,
last
move
sleep.
around. Yeah, that's
We are in the last
sleep.
cycle of the game now.
Yeah.
Also, we never really talked about it, but we do the entire game on a 5-minute timer.
Yeah. So you can you can buy pretty cheaply a 10 or 15 minute timer, which is what most people do casually. We do this all on the 5-minute timer.
Yeah,
which
and
is
when I first learned the game, I would buy a 10-minute timer in some cycles just because
just to make it safer. Yeah.
it was really difficult. Aw.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that, by the way. If you learn this game, there is nothing wrong with getting a 10-minute timer.
We sometimes
especially on like night 3.
in bingo we sometimes do a cheeky
Where is
10-minute
the
timer.
bone? You need to get the bone.
You're right. Oh, it's the bad spawn. It's the walk of shame. Wow, the worst bone RNG possible. The one, and this is
This is
you
so
got some
sad.
spiders. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it usually spawns next to like the flower, the planter. But today we're behind the tree, so we have to walk all the way over here. Definitely losing quite a bit of time to RNG this run. But that's how you do in Chibi-Robo. We did also get second try Pico. So
Yeah. This is also why nobody like races this game because
true.
it's just so ridiculous.
But
with some of
bingo.
this stuff. But bingo.
Let's go,
goes
bingo.
Dummy. Bingo goes dummy.
we will always be saying this.
Yeah. So just for people who don't know what bingo is, we keep memeing about it a lot, but it's what a speedrunning bingo is instead of having like numbers on a bingo card, you have different objectives within the game that you need to complete in order to mark off a square. So for example, say getting the
Divorce.
spoon or watching the divorce cutscene would be a bingo square. And so depending on the rules, you either need to get like a certain amount of lines up to get bingo, or what we like to do a lot is something called lockout bingo, where once one of the two players clicks an objective or marks off a square, the other player cannot get it. And so it becomes a race of first to 13
Yeah.
of the objectives on the card.
The aliens here, by the way, are sick because the Earth has too much pollution. I think in their words, too much soda.
It was junk food, I think, yeah.
I think it was both. Either way, yeah, they're sick. This is another one of those cutscenes where I wanted to preserve the aliens' locations for the most part because it matters for like your movement and stuff.
Yeah, because they'll get in the way otherwise.
Yeah, there's some jank here. I think one of the aliens actually does end up being a little incorrect, but not in a way that matters. There's many things discussing. There's happy points. There's the aliens moving.
Moonwalk!
Yeah, there's some funny stuff in where I wouldn't say lazy, but like I cut some corners, like you can see Ganymede, he doesn't get in your way, so it's fine. I think I got 2 there. I didn't go for the triple, but like I think Titan's supposed to be in a laying down animation, but it's not one of those things that like is the end of the world. That's like one of those things like mostly the UFO and alien cutscenes are like the ones I still need to really polish up and would like probably save like an additional like minute or 2 of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a double. You can actually, if you're kind of insane, get a triple. Oh, you're gonna like this, Jackson, because Ganymede's so far away, he walks way faster.
That's so funny.
It's
I
based.
also I just love the way he lies down in this because it's a tall seat meant for a tall guy and he just lays down.
Yeah. The run animation is it's my bad. It's time based. Like it's always the same amount of frames to get to his location. So it speeds him up automatically accordingly based on how
That's
far away
funny.
he is. So it's like it's the same amount of time, But yeah, it's just one of those things. And just like these complex cutscenes where you get happy points for doing different things that NPCs need to be in certain spots, they kind of have to be left in to some extent. Something like this for example, like this popping up. And the game of Simon Says starting. This is crazy what's about to happen. Jackson, you go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the color puzzle. The way that this works is that it's kind of like almost like a rhythm section where You need to get the colors to line up with whichever one you have selected. The first one's kind of annoying, but there's like a timing that you can do where you can guarantee that it just always like
Now I
goes,
just mash.
like that. Now you kind of just mash. Well, you don't want to mash too fast because it will just not advance the color at all.
I have had that happen before, but I'm a masher, so. But
Am I
Mash monster,
casual?
if you
Because
will.
I knew that you couldn't do this because I've like seen Chibi-Robo runs. I'll say it. I'm a
Yeah.
fan, right? I was just like mashing like super hard. It happened to me 3 times in a row.
so
How does it feel to be better than everyone else, Limey?
I love being better.
So what do we all think this thing that just spawned is? It's a time machine because this game needs to get crazier. So we're off to the
I
past.
think this game's like one of those like early mid 2000s games that has just like, you know, like a pretty straightforward like act 1, act 2, and like act 3 is just like what happened here. Like, just every future is like okay, yeah, we're like, you know, kicking cops' butts and doing graffiti, and it's like, whoa, boss rush, what happened here? Right? Like
It's only gonna get crazier as well.
yeah,
One of
and then it's like this game's like, oh yeah, we're cleaning up time travel, huh?
One of my favorite quotes in the game happens here. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it. Tully's like, "Are we in the past? That can't be. But everything's in sepia, so it must be the past." I just really like that quote. Oh, dang it. So there's an item we have to grab here, the circuit schematics that's needed for the end of the game. And I'm gonna go give the dog bone to Teo so we can do some story progression. Yeah, that's all.
One little detail I really like about this part is that Teo is visibly smaller in this section than he is.
Did they scaled
in
that
the
model
other
down?
game. They like scaled him down.
So this is another one of those cutscenes where it's just because like he moves and there's a lot of stuff like we still have to watch shit, but that's okay. We get to see Teo. He's a good boy. So we're gonna go look at
He's
the.
a good boy.
We're gonna go look at
Is
the.
there a timer button that says good boy? If that got hit in the chat, I want to hear it.
We have to go read this code. The code's the same every time, so like it doesn't actually matter, but like Jackson said, it's needed for a story flag. And don't mind what I'm doing. I'm taking an intentional death. Jackson, do you wanna say why?
Yeah, so normally there'd be a huge long cutscene that you'd have. Well, we wouldn't have to watch, but it's not removed because you're expected to do this in the speedrun. So it would just like you'd have to go back in the time machine, get yelled at by the aliens for messing with the time-space continuum, and then you go back.
Frankly,
through
they're
the UFO.
overreacting.
Yeah, they might be a little. They might be tweaking just a little bit. But
Here's the Moolah line, by the way. 'cause
That's the Moolah line
I
we
did
were
not
trying to
have it
skip.
perfect. We are gonna get a battery upgrade here for sure.
it's honestly not the end of the world.
No, it's safety.
All for safety.
This is definitely my bad, Limey. Although the last run did go underestimate by 10 minutes, so we're gonna go a little over. I can just tell
It
you.
like balances out. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we got
You got
really,
all the super Chibi-Robo cutscenes basically.
and the
so,
worst dog bone spawn. It happens.
I mean,
You see
I
it.
mean,
You might still be fine.
We also got a second try Pico. There's a factors
could have been
at
a first
play.
try and
Could've-
safeless. So I don't know.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to the end of the game now.
Yeah, so now we're gonna go pick up the leg. It won't crash the game now because we read the passcode. So off we go.
Hello, Drake Redcrest. Goodbye, Drake Redcrest.
Yeah.
My goat, by the way. I love Drake
dreamy.
Redcrest.
he is so checked out, just like staring at the door.
The entire run as well. It's like cycle based what he's doing, or like story progression what he's doing, but for the entirety of this any percent run, he is just watching the foyer.
He's like locked in, but he's also locked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
get you. All right, let's do it. So
One more big plug drop that we got. I think this might be the last. No, sorry, not the last plug drop of the run. That's the one in the basement.
oh, if you do it, yeah,
If you go for it, which I think you should, because
I will be going for it. I always do.
joy and whimsy, as we like to say in a certain server.
That's showbiz, baby. We love joy and whimsy.
It's showbiz, exactly.
That's showbiz.
All right, so we're going into the final story segment here. We're
Are
gonna.
you gonna input the passcode, or are you gonna go for the door glitch?
I'm gonna go for the thing Scoop does, which I didn't know about till AGDQ. I did it in practice, and if I get it wrong, then I'll be going for the passcode, just because the door glitch can soft lock me and I haven't saved. So. Oh, nice.
Okay.
So what Scoop explained to me there is when you pull out the briefcase, the leg is not spawned immediately, so you have around 2 seconds to clip into the briefcase before the leg spawns, and then you can pick it up once it spawns. Otherwise, you can't clip into the briefcase because the leg is too big.
So you can clip into the
It's
suitcase.
really hard.
It's awful. It is
It's like
bad. I can't come up with a word to describe it.
It might as well be impossible. So because we went to the past, Jackson, you gotta take. We're missing so much story because of the cutscene skip. You gotta.
Yeah, okay, let me lock in. So, what happened? So, it turns out that Mr. Sanderson is not as lazy as he might appear. He actually quit his job at Citrusoft because he thought what they were doing with these spy doors, making enemies of like the Chibi-Robos or whatever, was bad. So he actually quit his job, and he was one of the engineers that worked on things like, Chibi-Robo, Giga-Robo, and stuff like that. So this like big reveal happens because he was just ashamed to admit it for some reason. We also clipped out of the ambush thing. We're supposed to just like survive for 30 seconds, but you can just clip out. Alternatively, you can just kind of like hang out and in the corner and like
They can't
if you
hit
don't
you.
move far enough, some of the enemies won't aggro. So.
So we're getting right into this segment. This is like a 10-minute long sequence of cutscenes usually, by the way.
Yeah.
So
I will let you focus here. This is the
Thank you.
foyer Spiders fight. So it's gonna start out with a couple of these guys spawned in. They are gonna each die with one charged shot. Kobe is moving in a very specific pattern so that the next Spider is spawning in as like she's taking care of the previous one. So that's going to be those first 5 right there. You might
normally
do this on a.
I would normally do the recharge, but I'm just gonna do it after, just safety.
So the game is going to force Kobe to take the shot right there.
When the arena spawns, yeah.
Yeah. So Kobe was trying to do a specific lineup there. If you do this fight like super
Oh
turbo
no,
optimally,
the blaster shot. I hate it when that happens.
yeah.
Sometimes they
the
just
auto-target doesn't
miss.
work great.
Yeah.
But if you do this like turbo optimally, you can do this without having to recharge. But not the end of the world. This only loses like.
What I
80
learned in my
seconds.
practice run is the ratio is dependent on your max battery. So I had 80 battery
Yes.
coming out of this room, and it wouldn't let me leave,
Yep.
which is ridiculous, by the way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save just in case we die to Queen Spider. Would be very embarrassing, but
It would be funny.
it would be funny, and we'd lose even more time.
It'd be quite comedy.
Yeah. So we're going into the Queen Spider segments. You will have time to explain this one a little bit because there is some cutscene left over, Jaxer.
Okay.
So-
Gotcha.
Oh,
Went for the swag clip.
I always go
believed in
for
that
it.
one.
I
I want you
always
to know.
no, I was way too late on it. I slid into the door. Go ahead, Jaxer.
All right, so Queen Spider's fight has 2 phases to it. There's going to be one phase where we're kind of running around the arena in a circle with Queen Spider in the center. And what we're going to be doing is charge shots. And then when the boss is like trying to suck us in with the web, we're going to be holding a very specific angle on the stick so that we stay out of
I'm gonna
the
try.
damage zone. But it's pretty tricky. But even if Kobe takes some damage, it's
I have
not
so much
that
health.
big of a deal because of the way the second phase is programmed, which is really bizarre, and I'll get to that in a moment. But we're going to be kind of running around in circles. There are going to be things that are flying off of the boss, so we're going to make sure that we're almost constantly in motion. This fight's actually a little bit harder on the Wii version because you are forced to like stop walking when you shoot your shot on the Wii version. So we're going to charge up, and then we're going to start moving.
That hits. Yeah. Okay. Good.
That was a good shot. Nice. So you can squeeze in a shot there during that web attack, but it's a very tricky spacing that you have to hit. So we get sucked in right there, and that's not a huge deal.
Did I just hit myself with my own blaster shot? Can that happen?
No, I think you got hit by spiders dropping down from the ceiling.
Yeah. So, like Jaxer said, oh, this is really good. I think his last hit.
Nice. So
And my
this
battery is really
second
good for
phase
this.
is really bizarre. So the way it works is that when you shoot the boss, when your HP is below a specific threshold,
Nice.
then the boss will die.
You can't kill the boss until you're low battery.
It's so weird.
But that was, I will say, very good. I got
That was pretty solid, yeah.
very fast phase 1, and I was just low enough battery that I could basically quote unquote one cycle the phase 2 where she doesn't get to run away. Excuse me. So And we're just gonna, this cutscene is skipped. There's just a lot of happy points that were given out. So we do have to wait for all of that. I can't have any of this be skipped. It does need to happen because if you're low enough battery to not make it, you will have to recharge, which is like, then you definitely get a battery upgrade because of all this. We also get a sticker here, which you never, that's like 100% stuff. And I'm gonna make my way to the end of the game. I'm not gonna walk into the Drake cutscene.
Yeah, please don't do that again. Yeah, so it's gonna look like, again, we're really low battery, but we don't need to recharge.
I finally did it.
Yay! You got the plug pickup. So honestly, you probably don't really need to even slide.
I don't know. I don't need to slide. It's just wasting time. We can't go through the foyer because there's like an additional cutscene from Drake Redcrest there where he watches the news. But yeah, we're coming up on time, like within the next 30
very
seconds.
soon. Yeah,
Go ahead, Jaxer.
Now we have everything we need now. We got the leg from defeating the Queen Spider. We have the battery filled up and ready to go. And the other last requirement you're supposed to get, nicely done, is you're supposed to figure out the passcode to like boot up the robot. But it's the same every time, which is 200667, just so Kobe doesn't forget.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And time is going to end as soon as we input the last number on the code on the foot panel. So we're going to go ahead and put these two things in.
Yep, fully charged, and then give him his left leg. And gonna put the code in. Once it does this little pan up, it's like, oh, congratulations. Normally Plankbeard would show up and be like, oh, thank you so much for saving Giga-Robo, and it'd be like a whole minute long because it's Plankbeard. But, get some happy points.
An extra
200.
We hate Plankbeard in this house.
I love him casually, but yeah, in speedrun. Okay,
all right, get ready on time.
About to happen. No, I forgot to press clear. I'm throwing for content. Yeah, they're usually birthdays or anniversaries, right? All right, my bad. I pressed time.
GG's.
All right, pretty much right on estimate. I'm pretty happy with that.
That's estimate. That's
You
estimate.
only
That's
went
fine.
over by like 15, so.
And that was only because I forgot you could press C to clear without exiting out. I jumped the gun a little bit by pressing A twice on 2. Yeah, that's cutscene skip. Thank you so much for letting me showcase my mod on your stream, Limey. And
course,
or
of
not
course.
your Hotfix, GDQ's
Yeah,
stream.
on the Hotfix show, but I don't know.
No, it's
For
yours.
3 hours, the stream is mine and also Richard's.
Yeah, Mr. GDQ _SR.
And thank you, Jackson, for always joining me whenever I get the opportunity to run this game and being
of course.
a wonderful commentator. We are the only knowledgeable people about this game, but it is always great. I like to leave the game on this cutscene when Pico is tweaking out because it looks really weird. But I did my shout out like right here. He looks funny. I did my shout outs at the start of the run mainly, just Deppy, Sasha, Alyssa for making Unplugged. Thank you so much. Thank you to the 5 active people in the Chibi-Robo community. So Jaxer, Single Scoop, Haxi, the 2 Japanese runners, Kugane and Simochi. Thank you very much for always being a part of our community and helping us. And that's most of what I got. Jaxer, you go ahead. Oh, wait. Gotta shout out myself. Always forget. I'm
I was
Cavasco.
gonna say, you better not move on without shouting out yourself.
It happens. Twitch.tv/Cavasco. I don't stream often, but with Midwest Speed Fest submissions and GDQ eventually submissions, I will be doing some stuff. I don't usually speedrun Chibi-Robo unless it's bingo. I speedrun Street Pass games for the 3DS mainly, and a special shout outs to Sport Hero. And you can find me on Blue Sky as well. Go ahead, Jaxer.
Yeah, Kobe kind of covered all the community shout-outs, so I just want to say, again, shout-outs to Kobe for putting on an awesome showcase.
Thank you.
Thank you to Limey for having us both. If you want to follow me for whatever reason, I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jaxer1. I run this game from time to time as well as play bingo with this nerd who just did the run.
Let's go bingo.
Let's go bingo. And yeah, again, join the Chibi-Robo Discord, please.
Yes.
If you're at all, you don't have to be a speedrunner to join it. It's like the biggest fan Chibi-Robo community on the internet. It's really cool. It's a really awesome and welcoming space.
I do.
So feel
Sorry,
free to come join us. It's linked on SRC.
Yeah.
speedrun.com/CR.
I mean, do I have time
think-
for one more shout out real quick?
Yeah, feel free.
There is a spiritual successor to Chibi-Robo in development called Co-Robo that has a Kickstarter page, and it is being made by key members of the team that made the original Chibi-Robo, the first 3 actually. So if you like Chibi-Robo and want a new game in the style of it, I'm personally very excited for it. I would recommend checking that out. That's pretty much what I wanted to say.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Is that it from the both of you?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you for running. I love this game. I'm so happy to get this on my Hotfix show because I mean, hopefully in the future we have, bingo or something later.
Let's go bingo.
But yeah, I mean, it's always a great time with both of you on stream, and also this game on stream. It's fantastic. I'm super happy to have this. But with that, there is no more Parallel Universe left for the rest of the night. But if you want to watch more, you can go to youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. You can check out all of the different Hotfix show playlists there. But you can look at the best one for Parallel Universe and see all the episodes there. But like I said, we are done for the night. So thank you everyone in Twitch chat for watching. All of that stuff, keep supporting GDQ. Come back tomorrow. There's, more